and then I just got out of the high school gig. I did 1 year of coaching my daughter in high school, and spent most of my time just kind of enjoying less stress and coaching my kids at youth. So I did that for quite a few years, and then last year it came up again, and I knew my kids were coming up in the program, and figure you can, sit back or try and help out and be as involved as you can, and decided to come back. And a big part of it, to be honest, was the 3 other guys on my staff all said they would come back. So it kind of made it a no-brainer. I knew we had all worked well together, and it'd take a little time, but we'd start to hopefully get it back on track.
Well, yeah, I haven't lost a lot of hair there yet, but are you getting some stress here early on in the season?
Yeah, always. Part of it is, you try and do everything you can for the kids. You want to make it a great experience, and no matter what you do, there's always issues that come up, no matter how hard you try. So that's my only stressor. It's not so much always the wins and losses, but I want kids to have a great experience, and you know things are going well when they send you an invitation for a wedding and that type of thing. That it's, I'm as competitive as anybody. We want to win, but that my stressor is more that kids are having a good time and learning some life skills and just getting to be better people.
3-1 on the year coming in. I guess looking at your team this year, what were some of the strengths coming back? And I know you have a good goal scorer in Max Phillips.
We do. We at the end of last year, we had 2 lines that were putting up a lot of points, and 3 were seniors, 3 were not. We mixed and matched them a little bit, and late in the season, we put our 3 underclassmen together, and they were as good as the other line, if not better at times. So we knew we had that combo coming back if we keep them together. Below that, we've got a lot of good, hard-working kids that'll grind, they'll back check, they just don't put up a lot of points. Goaltending's been solid. We've had 2 goalies going back and forth, and they've both played really, really good, and we have a freshman going tonight, and so he's been solid all the way through the program as long as I've been around, because I coached those kids at youth, and then a couple good senior defensemen returning, and 3 good young sophomores is where some of the strength of our young players are.
One thing that's different for you, you have a son now that's playing. Is that the first time, at least, you've had a son playing at the boys level, right?
Correct, yeah, as a high school level. I've never done that before, and that's where, again, I was kind of torn. Is that the time just to watch? And I really would have been okay with that, but in today's day and age, you just don't get 15 people lining up anymore to do the job with all the headaches that go with it. So, and I think I looked at it as, there can be some headaches when you have your own kid on the team, but the opportunity to get to do that later on in life, to say I got to do that and spend that time with them, the bus rides and the extra things, I just couldn't pass up on that. I've got another one that's an 8th grader coming up, so it'll be fun to get a chance to coach them.
What I was going to ask you is, obviously Tony has his son Dane, a goalie. It's got to be a little bit more difficult, I think, to be a coach when your son's the goalie rather than maybe being a defenseman or a forward.
Well, it is for sure. My youngest one was a goalie all the way up until last year, and he was a good goalie. He just he was always kind of torn. He didn't like sitting in the net too much if the game wasn't close. We tried to play an A schedule, so he'd get lots of shots, but he was a natural goal scorer too. We'd play small games and he'd be scoring goals all the time. So last year he started playing out pretty much full time and was one of our leading scorers, and just decided to play out the rest of the way. But I've definitely seen it from that side. I was coaching the team when he was our goalie, and there were some stressful moments.
Your team this year, obviously, as I mentioned, 3-1 coming into tonight's play. Let's look at the section a little bit. Probably one of the toughest sections in Class A, and it's been for years, even when you're back with Alex and that. This is just good hockey, isn't it?
It has been. That's the thing, like coming back to the program, things weren't so stellar for a while there, and that was one of the things I stressed when I came back to town, that there's some good hockey out there. It's not an easy section anymore, and hasn't been for a while. So I think it's one of those things where you got to ask your kids to compete and show up every night. I don't care if you're that top team or somewhere down in the middle. You just got to compete. Like for us in a game like tonight, this is one where we got to show up and do everything we can to have a chance to be in the game.
What is the buzz of Wolverine hockey in Wadena like?
Well, I think there's a lot of good things going on. I think there's been some excitement that way. We went back to playing pretty much all A hockey a couple of years back. Like this group of sophomores would be the first group that did, and then from them down it has been. I know now this year there's a few groups that went back with smaller numbers, but basically the groups that all have coming through where my kids are have played at that level, and to me the buzz is only getting better because they went through the first couple of years of the hard knocks, 14-0 every game. They just weren't ready for the speed, and every year it's gotten closer and closer, and I don't judge it on the scoreboard. I know some parents struggle with that at times, but I've seen the pace of play. This current group that I have now, they hardly won an A game all last year. I don't know if they did, but I can tell you those kids that are sophomores that were some of those better players, the speed, they've adjusted already. Like they're ready for the game. So regardless of wins and losses, I think it's working and some good things are happening.
You know, let me get you. You've been around for a while coaching. What is the state of hockey like today compared to what it was maybe 10, 15 years ago, especially at the youth level, the high school level?
Yeah, I think it's just different. I think back in the day you had tons of rink rats that could only play in the winter. You had a lot of kids with really good hands and vision because that was their option. There wasn't summer ice. I mean, you'd go to a camp for a week. That was about it. So I think you don't see quite as much of that anymore. You see more of the year-round hockey player, which can be good and bad. I think it's good that I think the level has maybe been brought up that way as far as depth. You get a lot more players that can play, but you also get kids that maybe lose a little bit of that creativity at time when you're doing nothing but playing games all summer. Sometimes you don't take those chances and try and dangle through guys and do things you might do. So I kind of see it on both sides. There's definitely things that have improved because kids are putting in so many more hours, but you also get kids in the winter that say, I'm playing all year, I don't really want to go out to the outdoor rink and work on shooting skills and stick handling. So I think it's just different. I think it's in a good spot. I hope it doesn't get to a point where kids get too focused on one sport, because the best groups, even in ALEC, when we had some state tournament teams, the best group I had were when kids were 2 and 3 sport athletes, and they put in the extra time, but they got worked on other skills, less injuries. I'd like to see the trend not get too much to 12 months of hockey.
Always love picking your brain on that stuff, and I suppose we should talk about what's on the ice tonight. You're taking on the Little Falls Flyers. What do we know about the Flyers, and what are your keys to tonight to get a win against Little Falls?
Well, I think in our case, especially at this point where we're at as a team, is we're going to have to be great defensively. We're going to have to make sure we're shutting down as much as possible, taking away the middle of the rink. Our goaltender's solid, but we can't be giving up 2-on-1s and breakaways, and they're definitely going to put up some shots. They've got a lot of speed. We know that the sophomore group, that state tournament group, is very good. A lot of skill there. So we're hoping, we've got some good sophomores, and we're hoping maybe one of our advantages is a few of those seniors that we have that maybe just have some extra speed and an extra step and can maybe counter some of their young guys that are there as well. And we're hoping that brings a little bit of balance to it, but I'm no dummy when it comes to the game plan here. They're going to be good, they're going to be fast, and we got to be really disciplined defensively, not to give up easy opportunities.
Coach, as always, thanks so much for your time, and I'll make sure that Jamie's not a homer for the Flyers, but he also is for Wadena too, okay?
Yeah, I'll leave no comment on that. Yeah, we'll end there.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Once again, that is the head coach of the Wolverines of Wadena-Deer Creek. That is Scott Woods. We'll take a quick break. We'll come back. We're going to talk with Tony Kuchar. It's up next year at fallsradio.com and Q92.
Touchdowns are big. So are diving catches and goal line stands. No tackle stop celebrations are big too. But somebody in the third tier over saw the one-yard fumble rescue with the game in 3-2.
Welcome back to the pregame show. It's time now for our keys to the game. Interview with Tony Kuchar in 3, 2, and 1. And we want to welcome our viewers watching on Flyer Media Productions, Channel 181, and YouTube. James Hershey along with Jamie Pettit, as we also have a broadcast on the radio tonight, so a little dual action here. But in the meantime, here in our commercial break on the radio side of things, we should talk about these two teams very briefly, the Little Falls Flyers and the Wadena-Deer Creek Wolverines. Little Falls comes in 2-2 on the year. Wadena-Deer Creek 3-1 on the season this year.
A 6-2 win for Wadena-Deer Creek in their home opener Tuesday night against Morris Benson. Wolverines got off to a slower start, but they outscored the Storm 5-2 in the second period and only got an empty net goal in period 3. A 6-2 win, an efficient 6-2 win. Max Phillips, the leading scorer for Wadena-Deer Creek, led the way with 4 goals.
Alrighty, and of course these two teams play once during the year, and it's a section game, so it's an important game.
Well, anytime you play a game within Section 6A, I've always been a little bit of a critic when it comes to teams within the section maybe not playing against each other enough. So it's nice to see that Wadena-Deer Creek and Little Falls continue to play at least once during the season. Little Falls has always been good about playing teams within the section. They play Alexandria, St. Cloud Cathedral, Sartell, River Lakes, Fergus Falls a couple times, and it makes a huge difference when you can play games within the section come playoff time.
All right, for our TV audience, we're going to go to our interview with head coach Tony Kuchar. Welcome back to the pregame show. Once again, our pregame interview is brought to you by Peterson Body Shop, your best decision after decision. Joining me now is the head coach of the Little Falls Flyers, that being Tony Kuchar. And Tony, let's talk about the games that happened since we last talked. The Alexandria obviously lost 2-1, and then you had a 5-1 win against the Crookston Pirates. Your comments about those games?
Well, the Alexandria game, one of the key was we scored first. Got a little excited. We got outshot 2-1, but we hung in there. They took some penalties, so we had some power play time. So, but it was good for us early on. That was their first game, so it's a nice time to play them on their first game because they're a good team and they're going to continue to get better. So, if it would have been our first time seeing them maybe in January, you never know how it was going to go. Hopefully we're going to get better, but they do have some high-end kids, and I thought our kids played hard, had some chances. We gave up a goal right at the end of the beginning of the third period, which was just lackadaisical effort. But it was a good game. Dane played well in the net, gave us an opportunity to be in the game, so that was good to see, especially coming off a weekend up north that I didn't think he played extremely well. So that was good to see, and I just thought that our kids competed, and I think in a game like that, that's what you're going to get out of them. So the Crookston game I thought was a little better, despite the shots were pretty even. I think we might have outshot them by one or so, or vice versa, but I thought our kids played hard. They moved the puck well. We got some power play goals. We even had a 4-on-1 so that we scored on. So I thought the kids were excited about playing. It's always good to play at home. So, but I thought our kids played well. Crookston coming off a hard game with Sartell. They lost 6-1. We beat them 5-1. I'm sure they were tired. They only played 2 lines. They had some kids out with some injuries and some other things. So, we see Crookston in January. It might have been a little even game on the scoreboard. So, but I thought our kids played hard, and that's what you want out of them early on in the season like this.
It is early on in the season, but they have 4 games under their belt so far. Let's talk about the senior class, first of all. How do you think they've been playing so far in the first 4 games?
Well, we moved Josh Jennings up to a forward position just to give us a little more punch and try to develop some of our defensemen down there. We lost Reese Hubbard for 4 to 6 weeks, broken patella, so we won't see him till maybe after Christmas. Hopefully that is the case. He's a big part of our defensive core. So Josh Jennings, I was very skeptical. Really didn't want to move him, but I think Wes was coached him a little bit at the beginning of the year here in a Tier 1 league, and he played forward and thought he did quite well, and Wesley was right. We really appreciate what he's doing at the forward level. We have Ethan Ballou and Devil Young. They're not going to score a whole lot of goals, but they're going to work hard. We got them out killing penalties. So in that aspect, that's what we want out of those kids. They're hard workers. They're a huge part of our team in the locker room, and they've been around, so they kind of know the pressures and ins and outs, and they've worked extremely hard. Back on defense, we have Lucas Rexted, who had, I think, probably his best game I've seen him as a Flyer against Crookston. I thought he was extremely effective back there and worked extremely hard and moved the puck, and I thought if he could continue to play like that, he's going to have a real solid year this year for us. We have lots of other seniors that are on JV and other things. Those and we have Dempsey. Mason, how can we forget that?
Yeah.
He had 2 goals back on defense and got up in the play. One was a shot from the point, and then one he got right up in the play and got and pounded it in. So that was very fun to see. We have a handful of new kids that haven't played that are seniors. Nikita Archer's back on defense on the JV's, done a great job this year. Again, everybody has a role on our team, and if you can accept that role and move on to what you can do for our program, that is the best thing. And other programs don't allow their seniors to play back on JV. They cut them. We have a no-cut policy here in Little Falls, and we like our kids. I mean, Nikita's a great kid. We want him to be a part of our program, and he's done a great job with the younger kids. He's been also around for a while. So, yeah, we have a lot of kids, and I think the beginning part of the season has gone quite well for us. I mean, you think that you only have a couple seniors in the lineup, and you have an 8th grader in the lineup, and you have some sophomores, and how are you going to do this year? And you're thinking that it's going to take us a while to get rolling. So we'll see tonight against Wadena too. Is a team that is going to work extremely hard. They probably don't have as much skill as we do, but they will. Every game that I've been in with Wadena, it's always a dogfight in that first period. So I hope our kids don't take them lightly, and they work extremely hard.
Well, one thing I guess I'm curious with the seniors is with these youngsters coming in, are they getting excited, getting kind of a shot and a little adrenaline here because they realize there's some nice talent coming in, and that might be what they need to get to the next step?
Yeah, I think so. I think they rely on those young kids, and they're going to take a while to develop into seasoned veterans, that you can count on every shift. I mean, you're getting, some of the new kids, you're not getting full games out of them yet. You're getting half games or 3/4 games efforts, or even in we've talked about a little bit about going out and sometimes within just a 1 minute shift, you're getting 50% effort, half of it, and then you're getting 100% the other 30 seconds. So a minute shift usually for a line that goes out. So if you can get the kids to play 45, 50, 55 seconds in a shift and go great guns and full tilt, that's where they're going to be most effective. And right now they're not getting that, but they're very talented and for us, and they'll. I thought they did a great job against Alexander. They got some high end kids there, so yeah, it's just something that they need to get better and better, and they've been working very hard in practice, and that helps out too.
All right, we'll take a break. We'll come back. We'll talk about Wadena-Deer Creek, and we'll get your keys to the game. Once again, Coach's interview is being brought to you by Peterson Body Shop, your best decision after a collision. Back after this timeout here on fallsradio.com and Q92.
When you need your garbage removed, call Bob and we'll roll off and refuse.
And once again, for our viewing audience, we talk a little bit about the comments there of head coach Tony Kuchar. I guess, what did you take off of that? I wanted to kind of get his brain a little bit on the senior class and kind of how things have started out this year.
Well, we're guilty of this just like many others. You tend to focus on, what's the offense doing, who's scoring the goals. But he mentioned in the pregame interview how well Lucas Rexted played against Crookston on Saturday afternoon. And I agreed. That was one player that came up at the end of the game when I had a discussion with Coach Kuchar. He was happy with Rexted's play. You had the 2 goals from Mason Dempsey. And then you've got 2 sophomores in Marshall Inez and Joe Majurley that have stepped right in from that Bantam A state tournament team and played right at the varsity level without any complications. And also defensively, you got a freshman, a Bantam eligible freshman, George Moore. So primarily a 5 defenseman rotation. Tower Morrison will slide into that 6th slot with Reese Hubbard out of the lineup. But Coach Kuchar did a nice job of spotlighting how well his defensemen have played early in the season.
Yeah, and of course, when you have a young goalie like Dane Kuchar, you need some experience up front. And Dane obviously started out, as you heard in the interview there, a little bit slow up on the northern tier, but like you had said in our stats and our radio side of things, and now here in the interview too, Dane has really picked up his game.
Well, it was quite a nerve-wracking debut for Dane Kuchar as he started in International Falls, and that's significant because his father, Tony Kuchar, the head coach of the Little Falls Flyers, played his high school hockey at International Falls. So it was a kind of a what are the odds type scenario with Dane Kuchar starting on his father's high school ice.
Absolutely. Looking at this game once again, a section game and a very important game as we had talked about in our previous break. And for the Wolverines, this would be really a shot in the arm, I think, for them if they could get a win tonight.
Well, Wadena-Deer Creek doesn't get a chance to play Alexandria. They don't get a chance to play Sartell. So when they play teams that are projected to be up towards the top, they need to play well, if not find a way to win. They do get Fergus Falls, they do get River Lakes. Those are going to be very critical games for them within the section. But tonight's a big one. If you want to have a chance to get in the top 4, they may need to win tonight.
All right, it's time now for our keys to the game, which are brought to you by MillsAuto.com. Welcome back to the pregame show. It's time now for our keys to the game, brought to you by MillsAuto.com. Joining me once again is the head coach of the Little Falls Flyers, Tony Kuchar. And tonight your opponent is the Wadena-Deer Creek Wolverines. Last year you played them. They were 4-0 on the year coming in, and now new coach once again, but not really a new coach because he used to coach for Wadena, and we're talking about Scott Woods.
Yeah, great guy. Was with Wadena for a number of years, went to Alex for 5 or 6 years and came back to Wadena, and they're just going to extremely great guy and a great coach, and they're going to get better and better as he coaches that team. So, some of the keys of the game that I see with Wadena is usually that first couple minutes of the game. Make sure that we establish our home presence and make sure that they understand that they're in our building. I think another one is what we've been really trying to go is communication. We do not communicate very good on the ice, and that's just yelling for the puck, calling for the puck, talking to other people and other players on your lines and stuff. So we would like to see those kids to communicate a little better. And I think maybe the third one is we've been working hard on our power play. We need to do a little better job. When we're going to get against some high opponents that it's a 2-1 game like against Alexandria. We get on the power play. We need to score a goal. So this is a game that we really can concentrate on how we're moving the puck on that special teams, and that would be a very much of a key tonight.
All right, Coach, good luck tonight. We'll talk to you after the game.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Once again, those are our keys to the game, brought to you by MillsAuto.com. When we come back, Jamie will have the starting goaltenders, and we'll drop the puck. Little Falls, Wadena-Deer Creek, up next here on FallsRadio.com and Q92. And welcome back once again for our viewing audience. James Hershey along with Jamie Pettit. We got a couple minutes to talk here before we get the starting lineups, and we drop the puck here in just a little bit. Let's talk about Wadena a little bit more. You get a chance to see them throughout the season. Obviously, you do the radio broadcasting, and their main gun, obviously, that first line we talked about on our radio side of things. Well, let's talk about on the TV side a little bit in Max Phillips. He is one of the top scorers all time for this team.
Max Phillips is 7th on the all-time scoring list, 75 goals, 68 assists for 143 points. That number will continue to build. I project by the time his career is over that he'll probably be 3rd on the all-time scoring list behind Jeremy Erickson and Josh Pettit. Max Phillips has had a very nice 4-year career for the Wadena-Deer Creek Wolverines. He's the left wing on that first line, loves to slide down that left wing boards and try to get that home run pass near the offensive blue line. We'll see if the Wolverines can get that pass through the neutral zone tonight.
You talked about, too, in a radio broadcast to start the game that 84% of their production comes from that first line.
84% from Phillips, Pettit, and Schertler. And I think it's going to be interesting to see if Tony Kuchar decides to put one line against the Wolverines' first line, or if he'll just roll his first 3 lines through. I think we'll know by the midpoint of the first period what Kuchar decides to do in terms of line matchups. Of course, he's the home head coach. He's got the last change, but Scott Woods is kind of a sly fox at times too, and he might have his say as far as what he wants for line combinations also.
And they've had a lot of battles over the years too in some key games, haven't they?
Well, this is interesting. This is kind of the key note of the night, but we had section championship games for 9 years, from 2003, 2004 through 2011, 2012, and those 9 section championship games were won by 2 head coaches, Tony Kuchar and Scott Woods. Kuchar won 6 of those championships, Scott Woods 3 of them, 1 with Wadena-Deer Creek and 2 with Alexandria. So he had a 9-year stretch, and Kuchar and Woods took home the section hardware all 9 years.
That they did, and once again, they are battling again here tonight at the Exchange Arena. I want to welcome back our radio audience here, and both teams starting to come out of the ice. Wadena-Deer Creek out, Little Falls will be coming out in just a moment. We'll get the starting lineups from the PA address announcer, Tim Brummer, coming up here in just a moment. But as always, how about a look at the starting goaltenders tonight here for these two teams?
For the visitors, the Wadena-Deer Creek Wolverines, they are 3-1 overall. It's the Bantam-eligible freshman, Josh Dykoff, in his third varsity start. Dykoff is 1-1. He's played 101 minutes. Goals against average of 2. Save percentage at 93.4%. Number 30, Bantam-eligible freshman Josh Dykoff gets the starting assignment for the Wadena-Deer Creek Wolverines. And for the Little Falls Flyers, it's Dane Kucher. Kucher's 5th varsity start. He's a sophomore, 2-2 overall. Goals against average is 3. Save percentage of 88.2%. But in Kucher's last 2 games, he's only allowed 3 goals and a spectacular save percentage of 94.5%.
Alrighty, let's send it downstairs to the PA address announcer, Tim Brummer, with our starting lineups of tonight's game.
No smoking in or around the Exchange Arena. No obscene language. Gestures or noisemakers are allowed. No throwing objects of any kind onto the playing surface. No one is allowed to enter the playing surface at any time. And please do not hang on or over the glass. By following these rules, the hockey game will be more enjoyable for everyone. And now, here's the starting lineup for the Wadena-Deer Creek Wolverines. Freshman goaltender number 30, Josh Dykoff. On defense, sophomore number 22, Cade Woods. Sophomore defenseman number 18, Wyatt Murray. Senior forward number 7, Max Phillips. Senior forward number 9, Colby Shelter. And junior forward number 11, Leighton Pettit. Head coach of the Wolverines is Mr. Scott Woods, the Wadena-Deer Creek Wolverines. And now the starting lineup for your Little Falls Flyers. Sophomore goaltender number 35, Dane Kucher. Sophomore defenseman number 7, Joe Majoli. Senior defenseman number 20, Lucas Rexted. Senior forward number 10, Ethan Ballou. Junior forward number 28, Mason Doble. And senior forward number 11, Devin Young. Assistant coaches, Wes Watoshik, Bob Stark, Chris Gobish, Jared Fessler. Head coach of the Flyers in his 26th season, Mr. Tony Kucher.
Always entertaining to hear the voice of Tim Brummer here at the Exchange Arena. That's a look at the starting lineups, and we come back after this 2-minute timeout. We drop the puck. Little Falls, Wadena-Deer Creek, up next on fallsradio.com and Q92.
At CHI St. Gabriel's Health, our podiatry team provides treatment to help you regain pain-free mobility, including medical and surgical care for foot, ankle, and lower leg problems. We're trained to prevent, diagnose, treat, and rehabilitate common abnormal conditions, friendly faces, and expert care, all close to home. That's the best way to brave new trails. If your knee slows down, schedule your appointment today. CHI St. Gabriel's Health. Better every day.
Winner Agility is a regional independent CPA firm dedicated to serving clients with professionalism and integrity. First, professional staff fits to detail and personal excellent working relationships with clients. The firm focuses on serving accounts, tax, and business consulting needs of business individuals, not-for-profit, governmental clients. Winner Company always thinks about the quality of in their new location in Little Falls next to the dam, providing high-quality value added professional service for 1954. Cars, trucks, tires, oil change, whatever your automotive needs may be. Visit millsauto.com for the best answers in the area. Service by certified pro, quality parts direct from manufacturer, and friendly assistance to find the perfect vehicle to fit your busy lifestyle. What are you waiting for? Tires 24/7 at millsauto.com. Whether it's Mill Ford, Mill GM, or Mill why it's so important for parents to create an alliance with other parents. Talk to each other about your rules and expectations regarding not allowing underage drinking. 89% of Little Falls parents agree that parents should take steps.
And the singing of the national anthem here by the Little Falls Choir. Nice rendition done by them.
Yeah, great job. Nice start to the game.
Absolutely. Just waiting here just for a second to let our radio audience get back in once again. Glad to have you aboard here on Flyer Media Productions for yet another night of high school hockey coverage here on Channel 181 and also streaming on YouTube. And yes, back on the radio on Q92 and also at fallsradio.com. And tonight, let's talk about this one here. Your predictions of the game tonight, Jamie Pettit.
Well, Little Falls is favored on home ice. And if Dane Kuchar continues to play as well as he has the last couple games, it's going to be a very difficult assignment for Wadena-Deer Creek. It's never easy for Wadena-Deer Creek to play against Little Falls, but it's extremely difficult for them to play at the home of the Little Falls Flyers, the Exchange Arena. Wadena-Deer Creek has a 16-game losing streak. A 16-game losing streak against Little Falls. The last time the Wolverines beat the Flyers, the 2004 section championship game, that put Wadena in the state tournament for the first time in team history. The following season, Little Falls would beat Wadena in the finals, and the Flyers went to the state tournament for the first time.
Alrighty, the puck is down. We're underway with high school hockey tonight here on Q92, fallsradio.com, YouTube, and Channel 181. On its center ice, Flyers will dump it in first, and we get our first whistle and a offside call here 15 seconds into the game.
Well, Coach Kuchar starts his third line of Devin Young, Mason Doble, and Ethan Ballou, and the Wolverines have come out with their top scoring line of Phillips, Pettit, and Schertler. 84% of the Wolverines' goals have come from this first line, so it's the Flyers' third line against the Wolverines' first line.
And another offside call here once again. As we were getting ready here to start the game here, assistant coach John Murray came up to you and talked to you about something. There's a late scratch here for Wadena.
Yes, Jason Murray signaled, asked me to take my headset off, and indicated that Dylan Ness is a late scratch for the Wolverines. He was scheduled to center the third line, so we'll see who they plug into that position. I appreciate Coach Murray giving me that information.
Absolutely.
They're always looking out for me.
They're always looking out for you. Especially Scott Woods there in that interview. Huh? That worked out well for you. Okay, 16:20 to go here in the opening period, no score. Plays down in the Wadena-Deer Creek end, puck on the end wall there by Wyatt Murray. Murray, obviously the son of Jason Murray, that assistant coach we just talked about, trying to clear it out of the zone, unable to do so as Gabe Hirsch kept it in for a brief time. Now at the center ice, here comes Max Phillips, 143 points in his career so far. He's got 13 this year, 8 goals, 5 assists. Out at center ice come the Flyers with it. Just off the tape there of Lucas Rexted. We're going to talk with him in intermission number 1. Here's the senior Josh Jennings coming in. Try to center a pass across there to Gabe Hirsch. Just missed. And back the other way out at center ice come the Wolverines. Going back to pick up the loose pump there. Now this is Rexted. He had his puck taken away there briefly there by Justin Dykoff, who dumps it in. Dane Kuchar goes back to pick up the puck, leaves it off there for Jennings. Jennings over to Matt Phillippe, the 8th grader. Tries to clear it out of the zone, unable to do so. Now here's the guy that scored 2 goals in the Crookston game, that being Mason Dempsey. He's behind his own netminder, Dane Kuchar. And out to center ice comes, a hit on the far side there. Almost looked like that might have been an interference, as the puck was not in the possession of Josh Jennings, and he got hit pretty hard. Out at center ice and dumped in here by Rexted. They'll go on a change, and the Wolverines will try to clear it out to center ice. Intercepted. Quick shot taken there. That was off the stick there of Gustafson, and the save was made there by Josh Dykoff. Here's that first line out there for the Flyers right now as they're trying to muck it up a little bit. George Moore with a shot on net. Save made by Dykoff, and he will hold on with 14:48 to go here in the opening period and no score.
And it was the Little Falls Flyers' first line out against the Wolverines' third line. Both teams will... Looks like Little Falls will keep their first line out. Wadena-Deer Creek will counter with their first line. Face off to the left of Dykoff.
Draws one. Quick shot taken there. That one just wide of that there by Nicholas Stevens. Played on the half wall on the left side. Back to Mason Dempsey in a shot. That one ricocheted in front and covering up is Dykoff. And then we get some shoving after the whistle. as quickly the linesman comes in to separate everybody.
Flyers' first line features 3 sophomores. Gunnar Gustafson centering Nick Stevens and Robbie Kaczynski-Helgeson. Helgeson had his first varsity goal on Saturday in the 5-1 win against Crookston. A number of these Flyers, specifically 9 of the Flyers on the roster, on the varsity roster tonight, played on that Bantam A state tournament team last season.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of first times yet here in the next coming weeks yet for a lot of these players. Here's an opportunity that goes through everybody and all the way back down into the Flyer end, where Dane Kuchar will play it off the end wall. Getting actually there first that time is Schertler. Schertler plays it around the boards on the deep end there in the offensive zone, and finally it'll be Val Phillips had it for a short time, then into the glove and back the other way now because Gustafson. He'll pass it to the right wing side. Kaczynski-Helgeson shot on net. Dykhoff makes the save. Rebound Stevens. Quick shot there. Another save there by Dykhoff. Played now to the side here, but not out of the zone yet. Now picked up here by Schertler, and he'll flip it out to center ice. Gustafson picks it up. He'll go off on a change. Passes it over to Inez. Inez gets it up to Majorly. Majorly trying to come across the line. I guess they are onside, but the puck is just sitting there. Now it is controlled here. Coming in, this is Mason Doble. Doble goes behind. He is checked down, and a penalty coming up here. And we'll have our first penalty of the game, and it looks like Dante Laren is going to the box. 2 minutes for probably a hook or it'll be actually a trip.
Dante Laren for tripping. Time of the penalty, 3:28 of the first period. Laren's stick, wrong place, wrong time. 2-minute minor. Little Falls power play. Their first of the night this season. 3 of 18, 16.7%.
And it's a Pizza Ranch power play for our listeners and our viewers too. If you're in the Little Falls area and the Flyers score on the power play, you want to be caller number 3 tonight at 632-2306, and you win a free pizza from the Pizza Ranch in Little Falls. Penalty kill 60% for Wadena-Deer Creek, 4 of 6. As Jamie mentioned, 16.7 is the power play numbers for the Flyers, and it's one thing that head coach Tony Kuchar talked about in the pregame show that he needs to work on a lot.
Not uncommon for these special teams to get off to a slow start early in the season, but I think Coach Kuchar probably made it known in practice recently that the Flyers need to do much better when they have that man advantage.
Here's Rexton back at the right point. Quick shot taken there. That one was going to go wide, but the glove of Josh Dykhoff comes out, and the freshman goaltender makes the save and holds on.
I see Gabe Hirsch is on the ice for the Flyers. He's on the left side here on this power play. Wadena-Deer Creek lost to Little Falls 8-0 last season, and Hirsch had 3 points in that game for the Flyers.
Wolverines able to clear it the length of the ice. Minute 30 to go here on the penalty time to Laren for tripping. 13 minutes to go here in the opening period. No score between Little Falls and Wadena-Deer Creek. Here comes Stevens out at center. He'll come across the blue line. Goes to the end wall. Tries to pick up that loose puck now. Still has it at the right corner. Back to the right point. Now shot taken there. That one was tipped in front and just wide. I think Hirsch got a piece of that one as that shot came from that right point by Lucas Rexstad. Right circle now coming with it. This time it's Stevens. He'll play it in the corner there as it's touched here now by Philippi. Philippi passes it over to the left side. There's a shot by Marshall, and I believe it's in. It scores, and I believe Marshall Inez is going to have his first varsity goal.
And it will be Marshall Inez's goal if it was not tipped by a Little Falls Flyer in front of the Wolverine net. It's a power play goal for Little Falls. Time of the goal, 4:35 of the first. Flyers lead 1-0. It seemed like it might have hit something and ramped up and got by Dykhoff.
That's why I hesitated at first, because it almost looked like it was tipped and was going to go wide. So we'll have to wait and see on the call, but it's a Pizza Ranch power play. Be calling number 3 at 632-2306, and you're going to win some pizza from our friends at the Pizza Ranch in Little Falls. And we'll see if Marshall Inez has his first varsity goal.
Play goal for the Flyers, scored by number 9, Gabe Hirsch.
Up, it was tipped in front.
Assist to number 14, Marshall Inez. Time of the goal.
So Gabe Hirsch will get credit for the goal, and you saw what I saw, Jamie. It was deflected, and so Gabe Hirsch has his second of the season, and the lone assist will go to Marshall Inez, but it is his first varsity point.
Gabe Hirsch is a very smart player who was in the right position, tipped that puck, and that's why Dykoff was unable to make the save. Inez took the shot from the left side, but it was Hirsch with a picture-perfect tip that got it by Dykoff.
And a great shot by Inez, too. A nice hard shot, and then it was just tipped.
A controlled shot.
Exactly.
Not some wild slap shot.
In the corner now, down to the Wolverines' end. Mucking it up down there is Doble a little bit as he's tangled up there with Wyatt Murray. Play comes to the line, not out as it's held in by Moore. A little bit deeper in, down to the Flyer end. Behind the net now, taken here by the Wolverines. Back to the slot. Here's a quick shot, and that was Gustafson getting it right on net. Dykoff made the save, and the Wolverines will clear it the length of the ice. There's the outlet pass out at center ice. Touched there, but it knocked down actually there by Helgeson. Kaczynski Helgeson trying to get some help there from Mason Doble, and as Doble came out of his zone, he got hit pretty good there by Laren. Laid down by the Wolverines, still in the Flyer zone, and they'll flip it out to center ice. 10:55 to go here in the opening period, and a 1-0 lead in favor of Little Falls on the Gabe Hirsch goal, his second of the season, a power play goal. And that's good for the Flyers. They needed to start scoring on the power play, and they get one there. Bring it across the line, Stevens. He'll go into the corner. Another penalty coming up here. And a hooking call coming up.
Shepard's hooked deep in the Wadena-Deer Creek zone. We will see who is escorted to the penalty box. Looks like it could be a Flyer, and it could be Nick Stevens, and it is. Stevens for hooking, time of the penalty, 6:21 of period 1. It's a Wadena-Deer Creek power play for the first time in the opening period. This season on the power play, the Wolverines 5 for 16, 31.3%. They were 3 for 5 in the 6-2 win against Morris Benson Tuesday night.
I just saw Dan Rexted not too long ago here in the building, and he's our Pizza Ranch power play winner. So he must be listening and calling. Congratulations to him.
Quick dial on the cell phone.
Yeah. He knows how it works around here. So as you mentioned on the power play, Wadena-Deer Creek, good numbers for them.
Real good numbers early in the season. And Max Phillips has 4 of the 5 power play goals.
Yeah, and I have in his career 15 power play goals. And for the senior Max Phillips, number 7, we get
steps it up a notch when the Wolverines have the power play.
Absolutely.
And Pettit's going to take this face-off against Gustafson, and Pettit does a really nice job in the face-offs for the Wolverines.
Leighton Pettit, and they're going to kick out Gustafson, so Kaczynski Helgeson will come in, and as you mentioned, Pettit does a nice job with that, and he wins the face-off. It's one stat we were going to maybe try to keep is face-off wins here, but I forgot about that. I was going to do some tallies, and here we go.
Pettit's won 83% of his faceoffs this year. Wadena-Deer Creek does track the stats.
Okay.
I know the statistician.
I know you do. It's you know him for both teams, don't you?
Yeah, I might.
1:25 to go here on the power play for Wadena-Deer Creek. They trail 1-0, 10 minutes to go here in period number 1. And Wadena having some problems getting out of their own end right now. This is Cade Woods. Woods will play it up there to Pettit. Pettit's rink-wide pass there. Now moving in. It's Phillips 2-on-1 as he's got a man in the slot there. That was Laren, but could never get it over there. Nice job there by Rexted to knock it down, and then he knocks it out to center ice. Picked back up here by Woods. Woods now gets it to Phillips, who flips it in. And Rexted will go back behind the netminder, Kucher, and he'll throw it all the way down the length of the ice. 50 seconds to go here on the power play. That penalty once again against Nicholas Stevens for the hook.
Well, shots are 10-1 in the Flyers' favor.
Ooh, there goes the door open in the Flyer bench. There's 2, obviously, doors, and the door number 2. It's kind of like Monty Hall here.
I wonder which assistant coach is in charge of the doors.
I don't know.
Blame it on Dobus.
Well, it'd be the goaltenders and the defense, so that might be Stark, actually. Which we'll talk about Bob Stark coming up here in the first period intermission. Here's a wraparound score, and who scores? The 8th grader, Matt Philippi, who's got his 3rd of the season.
A short-handed goal for Little Falls. Coach Kucher talked about the special teams for the Flyers in his pregame interview. Little Falls now has 1 of each here in the first, a shorty and a power play goal.
And for Matt, that'll be his first short-handed goal of his varsity career, and maybe one of many to come.
Time of the goal, 8:04 of the first.
Flippy on a unassisted. Time of the goal, 8:04.
So an unassisted goal for Matt Philippi, and it is now 2-0, a shorthanded goal. 5 seconds left on the power play, and a partial breakaway coming here for Devin Young. Young comes in, backhand, forehand. Oh, I don't know how that didn't go in, and I think Dykoff might have just got enough of it at the last second. It looked like he had beaten Dykoff, but Dykoff turned his stick, and I think it just went off it. Good opportunity there for Devin Young. We're back to 5-on-5 hockey. Quick shot taken there by Jennings, and that one goes wide. Picked up here now by Young. Young centers it out, trying to get it to Ballou. We're going to talk with Ethan Ballou in intermission number 2, and then we get a whistle and a stoppage of play here as the net has come off the magnet, as the netminder, the freshman Josh Dykoff, kind of knocked it off.
Disastrous power play for Wadena-Deer Creek. Not only did, according to the scoreboard, didn't record a shot on goal, they gave up a shorthanded goal. They trailed 2-0. They just couldn't get set up. They had one rush as Phillips went down the right wing boards. They had an odd man rush. They couldn't convert, and Little Falls came back and scored shorthanded. Compliments of Matt Philippi.
2-0 is our score. Flyers lead. 8:04 to go here in the first. As Jamie mentions, the shots are one-sided, 12-1 in favor of the Flyers. We got a hand pass, I think, or grabbed in the offensive zone, which will draw the face-off all the way down in the Flyers' defensive zone.
Brand new jerseys for Wadena-Deer Creek. Coach Woods is proud of the new jerseys. The Flying W on the front of these new jerseys. That Flying W was on the first jerseys that Wadena-Deer Creek had in 1988-89, and that Flying W received the stamp of approval from Brad Shellstead at the time.
Very cool. I was going to say, these do look like new jerseys. Do they have new home jerseys too then?
Oh, just one set of jerseys this year.
Okay.
So they've got to make sure when they're on the road that they're going to inform the team that they're playing that they've got the gold jerseys, so just one set of jerseys.
Gotcha.
St. Cloud Cathedral and Fergus Falls could be a problem.
There's a quick shot, and at least they're nice numbers you can read.
That's exactly what I said to Coach Woods Tuesday night. I said, good job, Coach Woods. I said, these are broadcaster-friendly jerseys. And he said, I did it just for you, Pettit.
I was just going to say, were you involved in that? But you weren't, I guess. So I thought you would maybe said something.
He has heard me go on rants before about jerseys.
Flyers on the attack once again. A couple of shots, and Dykoff makes a couple of nice saves. Still down in the corner now. On the right corner, that is. Flyers trying to dig it out of there. That's Stevens trying to get it back, and just too strong there for Dempsey. Goes all the way back into the Flyers zone. 6:55 to go here in the first. 2-0 Little Falls. Even strength goal, power play goal, and a shorthanded goal. So 2 special team goals so far. And who scored the special team goal? Matt Philippi. He takes a shot, fires that one wide. Now it's held in by Inez. Played around the boards, trying to get there first. That time was Woods. Woods had it taken away, now moved out in front and diving out and just picking it up before Philippi could get to it was the netminder Dykoff with 6:33 to go here in the first. Little Falls leads 2-0.
In particular, in the Wolverine zone, WDC is losing all the races to the loose pucks. The Flyers are just smothering them along the boards. They're quicker, they're a little more physical, they're getting to that puck before Wadena-Deer Creek, and it's making it extremely difficult for Josh Dykoff, who's been under siege here in the first period.
You know, we didn't see a lot of Matt Philippi in the Alexandria game that we did, but we noticed him a lot in the Crookston games, and I'm noticing him a lot tonight here as he just took a shot that got deflected by Dykoff into the safety netting.
If I remember correctly, in the Crookston game, the Flyers had that 4-on-1, and Philippi came down the left wing boards and elected to take the shot that found the top corner, which was a really nice goal for Little Falls on Saturday afternoon.
It's got to be a morale boost for him, being an 8th grader, already having 3 goals this year, realizing, hey, I can play in this level right now.
He's got good size, 5'11" and 160 pounds.
And so far, a good start for him. Here's a shot that Dykoff had no idea where it was, and it just went wide, and that came off the stick of Marshall Inez. Marshall still looking for that first goal, and now the Flyers mucking it up once again down there as they have that third line out there with Doble, along with Young and Ballou. And here's Young with it now. Back to Ballou. Quick shot, and that one hit traffic in front and scampers just wide. Picked up by Young once again. It almost looks like they're on a power play, but they're not, at least not yet, as Doble got just decked in front.
Hamann just absolutely creamed him in front of Dykoff.
That could have been a penalty. Play continues on. And finally, well, I was going to say finally they're going to clear it out, but Robinson couldn't. He fanned on it. Flyers able to keep it in there. Now it's Hamann with it at the end wall there. Plays it around the boards, but it's held in by Majorly for the Flyers. 5:15 to go here, and Wolverines finally get it out to center ice as it's tipped ahead there by Tyler Reese. Reese picks it up, fires it towards the netminder Dane Kuchar, who's kind of bored back there. He's only faced one shot so far here in the opening 12 minutes. Out at center ice now. Coming again on that left wing side is Kaczynski Helgeson. He'll center a pass in front as Majorly got knocked down in front. Here's Gustafson now going behind the netminder Dykhoff. Centered a pass on in front. No Flyer there, however. Back to the point it comes. Touched there briefly as it was touched by Rexted. He lost it, and then losing the stick over there is Schertler. Schertler tries to get the stick back. He does. Doesn't get the puck, though, as it's Gustafson now with it. Gustafson passes over the right side. Stevens with a shot. That was knocked down, though, in front nicely there by Laren. Laren then puts Stevens to the board. They're mucking it up in the corner once again. Now intercepted here. Back the other way. Nice outlet pass. Schertler to Phillips. Phillips trying to do a back pass there as he's trying to find Pettit coming into the slot area. Unable to do so. Phillips moves in. Takes a shot at Gustafson. And then back out to center ice. The play comes. 4:05 to go here in the first. 2-0 Little Falls leads on a power play goal scored by Hirsch and a shorthanded goal scored by Philippi. Here's George Moore, the 9th grader, Bantam eligible, gives it off to the 10th grader Hirsch. A quick shot there, and Dykhoff, the freshman, makes the save. And we get a whistle and a stoppage of play as there's played with a high stick on the Wolverines. It'll stay down in the offensive zone for the Flyers with 3:47 to go in the first. 2-0 Little Falls.
And the Wolverines will bring out their third line, centered by John Oberg, Cooper Reed, and Finn Erholtz, also on this line. Opposed by Little Falls, the second line, centered by the senior Josh Jennings. Of course, Jennings was a defenseman for the Flyers last season.
Yeah, I think Josh has embraced that role. We have an injured player down here for the Wolverines. I'm not sure who that, number 2, that's Logan Robinson, as he's banging the ice 3 or 4 times, now sliding across it here. As you can see here on Flyer Media Productions, channel 181, he is injured.
Wolverines play 5 defensemen. Logan Robinson is one of 2 senior defensemen.
I think it's one of those injuries that you just don't want to have.
I was thinking the same thing.
3:40 to go here in the first. 2-0 is our score. Shots on the board, 18-1. I saw this on Tuesday, Jamie Pettit, when I was doing girls hockey. Brainerd Little Falls played Moorhead. The final score was 13-0 Brainerd Little Falls, and the shots were 60-5.
60-5?
60-5, yes.
Wow.
Not to say that, but so I've seen I guess the team I've been broadcasting in not even 4 periods yet already have 78 shots.
It's a lot of shots on goal. They don't seem too concerned with Robinson. It's just kind of like they're waiting for him to shake off whatever might have happened.
He's in
front of the net.
A lot of pain right now. With 3:40 to go, looks like they're going to help him up here now. The mouth guard's still down there. As trainer Trent is out there. He's going to take care of him, I think. So we'll get play resume here in just a moment. Face-off going to be remaining down in the Wolverine zone with 3:40 to go. Don't forget, coming up in intermission number 1, we're going to talk with the senior captain, Lucas Rexted. He'll be our 3rd senior captain we talked to, that on our radio side of things.
And his dad won the pizza earlier when Little Falls scored on the power play.
And I saw him earlier, and I talked to his mom too, so I know they were in the building. There's Moore getting it down to Philippi with a quick shot. Save made there by Dykhoff as he just got the pad down in time. Wolverines once again trying to play it out. I think the war right now, Jamie, that Wadena's, their hard part is they're just having any difficulty getting out of the zone. And Right there, we just saw they tried to gingerly pass it. I think they're going to have to throw it out heavily.
At this point, you do whatever it takes to get it back to center ice. There's been way too much time spent in the Wolverines zone from their perspective. They just got to do whatever they can to get it to center ice and then go from there.
Here's Philippi trying to go around the defense there of Laren, and coming out is Dykoff to dive on that puck between the circles. Good play there by the freshman Dykoff to make sure that Philippi didn't get around that defenseman and have a chance to shoot.
Be an end zone faceoff, offensive zone faceoff for the Little Falls Flyers. They've got their third line out, Devin Young, Ethan Ballou, and Mason Doble, opposed by the Wolverines' first line of Pettit, Schertler, and Phillips.
That's the one thing in the second intermission we'll talk with Ethan Ballou, how important the third line is on a hockey team, because a lot of times you're the team that's the guys that aren't going to score, but you can eat up some valuable time out here against the first team of the other team.
Coach Kuchar has not hesitated here in the first period to use his third line against the Wolverines' first line. So the Flyers are using that third line like a checking line tonight.
Well, and you look at it, there's some of the most experienced guys out on the ice is on that third line. Here's a chance by Schertler that goes wide of the net, down to 2:20 to go in the first, still a 2-0 lead. Played with a high stick here by Phillips, and once he touches it, that's going to end it. And Phillips kind of plays around with it a little bit and sends it towards Kuchar. Face-off going to come all the way down in the Wolverine zone, as that was played with a high stick in the offensive zone by Wadena.
2 first-period goals. Gabe Hirsch, his second of the season on the power play. The other first-period goal from Matt Philippi, a shorthanded goal, his third of the season. Shots favor Little Falls 18-1.
Draw one that time, I think, by the Flyers, but quickly taken away. This is Domeyer with it. Domeyer tried to pass over to the right side there and trying to tip it home there was Reese, unable to do so. Back out to center ice now it comes for the Flyers. They'll dump it in deep.
Robinson's back.
He is, and he's got the puck right now. Is trying to avoid there the check there of Mason Doble. Robinson now moves it up to center ice. It's caught at the skates there of Young. Devin Young in his own end now has it. Right at his own blue line will come out to center. He'll pass it on the right wing side. Now moving in, this is Mason Dempsey. Dempsey fires it off the end wall, chases after it, gets it back. Dempsey doubled his career goal scoring in that game against Crookston. He had 1 in his career, and he got 2, and now him and, actually, we might get a double minor here.
They're going to take them both. Dempsey, a little dust up in the left wing corner, Wolverine zone. Hamann and Dempsey were at it, and eventually the referee was standing there, blew the whistle, and said, both of you in the box, 2 minutes apiece.
I don't know about that. It looks like they're only taking Hamann. 2 minutes for hold.
It sure looked like they were going to take them both.
No, they said Wyatt Hamann, 2 minutes for holding.
Then Hamann only. And 2-minute minor for holding. And they were both kind of locked up, and they were locked up maybe because Hamann had a hold of him.
Kind of curious to see what Scott Woods thought of that, but he doesn't really have any reaction on it.
Time of the penalty, 15:35 of the first period.
Second Pizza Ranch power play of the night. So if the Flyers score on the power play like they did before, and we're going to have a penalty here now, and this is probably going to go against the Flyers, I think. And he brought down, it's going to, Gabe Hirsch is going to the box, I think, for a trip.
That was a quick power play, just 3 seconds for Little Falls.
Yeah, he knocked down Laren in the corner, and that was all it took, and we're now evened up. So we almost got her evened up.
Time of the penalty,
You knew it was going to. You knew it was going to happen.
Yeah, I had a subliminal message that indicated that was going to happen.
Hockey future predictor Jamie Pettit.
Just like Kreskin.
There you go. 1:15 to go here. 4-on-4 hockey. A lot of room out there. You don't get that very often sometimes, you know, because normally when you have coincidentals, it's still 5-on-5, but here it's 4-on-4 for a little bit. So that'll actually take us all the way to the end of the period as we're down to a minute to go here. 2-0 lead for Little Falls. Philippi had it at his own blue line. Pocket was picked there briefly. Now Max Phillips has it. Phillips in the corner, lost it to Gustafson. Gustafson goes behind his own net, plays it over to Philippi. Philippi back to Gustafson. They come out to center. Coming across the red line, now the blue line. Gustafson had it back for a short time. Lost the puck there. Phillips has it for Wadena. Can't play it out of the zone. Picked up here by Philippi. Nice little move, moving in. Fired a shot as he was diving down, and he just fired that one wide. The stick work of the 8th grader is already showing there, too. foot is what he is, and I tell you what, he's playing very well tonight. It's definitely noticeable out there. Holding it in is Majorly, down to 12 seconds left here to go in the period. Still 4-on-4 hockey. Majorly now with it. They're trying to center a pass out. It's intercepted by Phillips, who plays it out to center ice. Picked up by Rexted. Down to a second, and that'll be it. Period number 1 is in the books.
18-1, the Little Falls Flyers had the shots on goal advantage, a 2-0 lead for Little Falls. The time of possession that the Flyers had in the offensive zone was monumental in period 1. Wadena-Deer Creek just could not get control of the puck in their own zone. They absolutely were fighting it at all times, trying to get it back to center ice. And when they did get the puck, it was almost like panic. Now what do we do with it? They just could not get it through the neutral zone and into the offensive zone. A very quiet first period for Little Falls goaltender Dane Kuchar, 1 of 1. And if I remember correctly, that shot maybe came from center ice. I thought Hamann took a shot earlier in the first period, and Kuchar made the save. So just very little time for Wadena-Deer Creek in the offensive zone. Little Falls got special teams goals in the first period on the power play and shorthanded. A pretty complete period for the Flyers. However, 18 shots on goal. They only lead 2-0.
That they do. All right, let's take a break on the radio side of things. We'll take a 2-minute timeout. When we come back, we will talk once again with the senior captain, Lucas Rexted. That coming after this 2-minute break. You'll listen to Flyer Hockey on Q92 and FallsRadio.com.
Hi, my name is Lindsay Wunderlich. I am a physical therapist.
Welcome back here once again for our Flyer Media Production viewers on YouTube tonight and also on channel 181. James Hershey along with Jamie Pettit. 1 period is complete. 2-0 is our score. And are you surprised, I guess, Wadena hasn't had a little bit more offensive prowess here in the first period?
I was surprised by the fact that they seemed a little intimidated, especially in their own zone, and just it's almost like it snowballed. Coach Kuchar mentioned in his pregame interview that he wanted to set the pace for the game in the first 2 minutes of the period, and that's exactly what the Flyers did. They set the pace, and the Wolverines have not been able to catch up. Josh Dykoff played, I thought, very well for the Wolverines in goal, considering he had 18 shots on goal, was under siege most of the period. Coach Woods, in his second term as head coach for Wadena-Deer Creek, was a head coach for 6 seasons, then went on to Alexandria, 6 seasons as head coach there. Also did some other coaching duties before he came back. Now in his second season, in his second term for Wadena-Deer Creek, he likes to make adjustments. The Wolverines will go in the locker room and make those adjustments between the first and second period. They need to do something. They've got to find a way to at least get the puck safely back to the neutral zone and then go from there.
On the other side, defensively for the Flyers, Dane Kuchar only seeing 1 shot in 17 minutes. He was standing around most of the first period.
Yep, and that was similar that happened against Crookston on Saturday afternoon, where there was some downtime for Dane Kuchar. So as a goaltender, he's been a goaltender his entire hockey career. He knows how to stay focused. He's got to find a way to make sure that he stays in the game, because the last thing he wants is an unpleasant surprise that rolls in from center ice and he's not paying attention.
All right, let's take a break on Flyer Media Productions, and we'll take about a 7-minute break. We'll come back with more. Once again, 2-0 Flyers lead after 1. Interview with Lucas Rexted. Welcome back to intermission number 1. We continue on with our player profile and continue on with the senior class and the third and final captain that we haven't yet to talk to, that being number 20, Lucas Rexted. And Lucas, let me ask you that first question. Being a senior and being a captain, what does it mean to you?
It means I have an important job on this team, and I need to go hard every night and play consistent every single game I step out on the ice.
Hard to believe it's your senior year already?
Yes, it goes by very fast.
I guess as a youngster maybe listening to this interview, what would you tell them as they are growing up?
You got to work hard every single practice and push yourself every single practice.
And as a youngster, is that what you did getting to this level today?
I really didn't start to believe in that system until I got to this level, and Kuchar pushed us every practice. And I know that if if I would have been younger, it would have made me a much better hockey player as well.
Well, obviously, you've definitely matured as the years have gone on. You've gotten better, and you've gotten a lot of varsity experience. That, I've got to believe, has helped you over the years, hasn't it?
Yes, it has.
Talk about the game, I guess, when you were in the Bantam level to now this level, and now is it coming a lot easier than it was a couple years ago?
Yeah, definitely. Once you get your years down, you see the ice better, and you learn to control the puck better and make better passes, and the game goes much better.
One of the challenges this year was trying to mesh the team together because you have a lot of young teammates on your team, don't you?
Yep, we do. We got a lot of good young players, and I believe that they keep working hard. They can lead this team to great stuff.
Now, I looked on the roster, and I saw number 23, Ben Rekstad. Brother of yours?
Yeah, he's my younger brother.
Okay, what's that like to at least have your brother on the team? I know he's not playing on the varsity, but at least he's on the bus rides. He's part of everything. What's that like?
It's another Rekstad around the rink. We got all 5 of them here tonight, and there's always a Rekstad around. A lot of people know you, and I think it's a great thing to have.
Let's talk about the family for a minute. Did your dad play hockey at all? How did you guys get into hockey, I guess?
My parents didn't play hockey. My mom's brother did, but that's about the only connection I have. And my cousins one of my cousins played at University of North Dakota, Grand Forks. We watched her a lot, and I don't know, I liked stepping on the ice every night, practice, all the games, just stuck with it.
So it's kind of and the whole family's doing it, so it's crazy. And, you know, it is a kind of, and I've said this before to many people, in that it is kind of a culture. Once the family gets into it, you almost have to become part of it, don't you?
Yeah, I know. You pay a lot for those pads, and it's nice to have somebody to hand them down to.
Well, and the other thing, too, is if you're not going to play the game, you're probably going to be sitting in the bleachers watching, so you might as well just get out and play, right?
Yeah, and rather play than watch.
Absolutely. Hey, obviously you're on the defense, you're on that blue line, and you know, you've got some guys back this year, and you have some injuries now that have happened too. How tough has that been with the injuries, especially now the latest injury to Reese?
You know, we have a lot of younger kids stepping up. We got quite a few first years on playing very regular time, lots of minutes, and we had to pull a few up from the youth hockey level. And we've all been working very hard in practice with Stark, and we're getting better. We have some very good improvement.
Let's talk about Bob Stark for a minute. We don't get a chance to talk to him much because we only talk about Tony and that. What's it like playing for Bob, and how is he teaching you guys?
Oh, he's got a lot of knowledge to share with everybody. He's always talking on the bench, always talking in practice.
Chirping, right?
Yeah. And he gets his words in, even though he might not be as noticed to everybody else. But he definitely helps a lot to the high school hockey team.
Okay, so you, Devin, and obviously Josh are the captains. Who is the more outspoken? Because all 3 of you kind of are quiet a little bit, at least what I see.
Yeah, we're all quiet leaders, but we lead by example, and most of the kids know that they should step it up when we're getting fiery. We talk on the bench quite a bit, probably a little bit more than we do off the ice, and that's always a good thing. But if we have to get on them, they know that we mean it, and they should step it up, and we got to play hard.
Yeah. Well, I tell you what, are you excited about this year with the youngsters coming in and the talent?
Yeah, I'm very excited with the young talent, and I think they'll be very good for us this year and in the future for the next upcoming teams.
Of course, unfortunately, this will be your last year at least wearing the Flyer jersey, and I guess the biggest question I always ask the seniors is, what's the future hold for Lucas Rekstad? Have you decided what you want to do?
I haven't decided, but I have applied to colleges and have been accepted to a few, but I haven't made my final decision. I'm still waiting to hear back from one college.
And any work-related fields that you want to get into, have you thought about?
My goal is to be athletic training major. So what school, I'm not sure quite yet, but we'll see.
Have you had a chance to shadow anybody, even like Trent here that's at the games, or do anything like that?
Nope, not really.
Not yet, as of yet. That's maybe something you'll do down the road here, huh?
Yeah, definitely.
Awesome. Hey, you know, obviously the goal is to get to the state tournament. Everybody wants to get there, and it's going to be tough because this is one of the toughest sections in Class A. Well, what do you think it's going to take for this team to get over the hump and get back to the state tournament?
It's hard work every day at practice. If we work hard, every game, every practice, every period, we'll make it. We'll have our chances, and if we capitalize, we can capitalize on winning, and we can make it past sections this year.
Awesome. Hey, great job here. A lot of fun seeing you on the ice. Wish you the best of luck this year, and let's get a win tonight.
Thanks.
Once again, that's the guy that wears number 20. He patrols the blue line. That is the senior captain, Lucas Rexstead. And always fun to get to hear from the seniors, the senior captains, too. And like I said, those guys are a little quiet, but like you said, when they need to speak, they will speak.
Those are well thought out answers. He wasn't going to rush to answer your questions. He took his time, gave you some really good, thorough responses, and mentioned that he's been accepted to a couple colleges, but wasn't willing to throw out, which colleges those might be. So he left us in suspense.
Yeah, it was kind of like he wouldn't tell us where his, fishing hole was, or
yes.
the hunting spot.
How am I supposed to know where to put my ice house?
Exactly.
And speaking of Bob Stark, did you know that Bob is an omelet chef? Bob claims that he makes the best omelets. So at some point, if you want to take advantage of that, you need to let Bob know what you like in your omelet. For instance, I prefer ham, cheese, and mushrooms. So if you want an omelet at some point, you can order one from Bob, or we'll invite ourselves over to his house.
Does he do them on the road when the team's on road games?
I don't know. I thought about that.
Okay, we might have
that came to mind.
We might have to hit him up for that, maybe in that weekend trip down to the Twin Cities.
Bob making omelets on a hot plate.
Possibly. Hey, we're going to welcome back our TV viewing audience, too. James Hershey along with Jamie Pettit here on Channel 181 and also on YouTube. And as always, we want to check out the stats in the first period, and they're brought to you by Schlenner, Wenner & Company, their local independent CPA firm right here in Little Falls. And they just recently moved, too, down to the Mississippi River. They're right there at the dam, a nice view of the dam and the river there, so make sure you check them out. Once again, Schlenner, Wenner & Company will bring you our stats, and with the first period stats, here's Jamie Pettit.
The Little Falls Flyers are 3-1 this season. The Wadena-Deer Creek Wolverines are 3-1 this season. The Little Falls Flyers are 2-2. After one period of play, it's Little Falls leading Wadena-Deer Creek 2-0. First goal of the first period at 4:35 on the power play. Second goal of the season for Gabe Hirsch. Single assist, Marshall Inez. Hirsch from Inez, 4:35 of the first on the power play, and it gave Little Falls a 1-0 lead as Marshall Inez took that shot from the left point. Nice redirect by Hirsch in front of Dykoff into the back of the Wolverine net, and it gave the Flyers that 1-0 lead. It was 2-0 Little Falls at 8:04 of the first period. A shorthanded goal for the 8th grader, Matt Philippi, his third goal of the season. Philippi, unassisted, shorthanded. Little Falls led 2-0, and the Flyers would take that 2-0 lead into the first period intermission. Shots on goal in the first, 18 for Little Falls, just 1 for Wadena-Deer Creek. Dane Kuchar, sophomore, tending net for Little Falls tonight, was 1 of 1. 9th grader Josh Dykoff for the Wadena-Deer Creek Wolverines was 16 of 18. Both teams were whistled for two-minute minor penalties. Little Falls 1 for 2 on the power play. Wadena-Deer Creek is 0 for 1 on the power play, but in 35 seconds, when the 2-minute minor to Hammond expires, Wadena-Deer Creek will have according to the scoreboard, a 4-second power play. Not much you can do in 4 seconds, but you never know.
You just never know.
2-0 Little Falls after 1.
Hey, just a reminder for our viewing audience, we will have some more games coming your way, at least on the hockey side of things. Our next hockey broadcast will be on Tuesday, December 18th, when the Little Falls Flyers play at home against Northern Lakes. And then again on Friday, December 21st, when they play at home against Cambridge. The Blue Jackets, those are the next two television games. Our next radio broadcast actually will be next week. All three of our games will be on the road. Next Tuesday, we get to travel over to the chilly confines of the Todd County Expo Arena in Long Prairie. And this Prairie Center will entertain the Flyers. That on Tuesday the 11th. And then a weekend trip heading down to the Twin Cities, where on Friday, December 14th, the Flyers will take on St. Paul Johnson at Gustafson Phelan Arena. And I believe that is actually where Herb Brooks was at one time, if I remember right. Some history behind that, I guess. At least might have done some playing, coaching, all those kind of things in that location. And then we'll go to a new arena in Mound, West Tonka, to Thayer Sports Arena, where they used to play at the Pond. I actually used to do broadcasts there in the early 2000s. They will be playing there on Saturday, December 15th. All those three games I mentioned will be on Q92 and also streaming online at fallsradio.com.
I looked last night, Mound West Tonka's already 4-1 this season. St. Paul Johnson's 1-1, and St. Paul Johnson will play Sartell this weekend? No, they play Crookston this weekend. So that'll be a common opponent.
Exactly.
For Little Falls, as Little Falls has beaten Crookston 5-1 this year, and St. Paul Johnson will play Crookston this weekend.
Mount West Tonka ranked 16th in the latest Let's Play Hockey Class A poll, which just came out today. All right, the second period is underway. 2-0 is the score. As Jamie mentions, there's still a penalty apiece, so we'll still skate 4-on-4 here for the next 15 seconds, and then it'll be a brief, short power play here for the Wolverines, as Rexted has it back in his own end. Picked up here by Majerle, passes it to Philippi. Puck is intercepted there briefly by Schertler. Picked back up, and now it was coming across the line. Philippi lost the handle of it. Penalty times have expired for both teams, and now we're skating 5-on-5. Phillips had his pocket picked at center ice there by Gabe Hirsch. Trying to carry it across the line was Philippi, unable to do so. Then Majerle will flip it up to Hirsch right in front of the Flyer bench on the left wing side. Dump it in, dump back out by the Wolverines. We played a minute here in the second period, and the Flyers lead 2-0 over the Wolverines. Wadena-Deer Creek in their own end now, having some problems with it. This is Woods with it, having the puck taken away there by Stevens. Stevens has it at the left circle. Stevens now at the left corner, goes to the back wall. Turnaround shot there by Stevens. Came in on net, save made there by Dykoff. Held in at the right point by Rexted. Another shot towards the net, and that one steered aside there by Dykoff. Still played here by the Flyers. This is Kaczynski Helgeson with it. Passes it out to Gustafson, just rolls over his tape. And here goes now Phillips out to center ice. He'll just dump it in, and he'll go off on a line change. 15:20 to go here in the second. 2-0 lead, Little Falls. Out to center ice. This is Stevens with it. He's rubbed off the play at center. Wolverines, and avoiding a check there was Justin Dykoff. Leaves it off there for Tyler Reese. Justin Dykoff with a good shot. Probably the best shot of the night so far for the Wolverines. Just the second one Kucher has faced, and he makes the save. Out at center ice it comes. Stevens now comes across the line. The stick was lost there by Tyler Reese for a short time. Picked up by Gustafson now. His shot towards the net. That actually hit that time. That was, I believe, Dykoff. It was Justin Dykoff, the second line center for the Wolverines.
Justin's Josh's older brother.
In the corner now, this is Kaczynski Helgeson. He's trying to pick up that loose puck. Had a stick held for a brief time there. Now intercepted here by Laren. Dante Laren will try to bring it out to center, but a good job by Stevens to keep it in. Now to Kaczynski Helgeson. Back to Stevens. Fans on it. Another shot, save, rebound, score. Stevens fans on the first attempt. That kind of screwed up Dykoff a little bit. Then the save was made by Dykoff on the second, or the actually first shot. But the rebound came right back to Stevens. And Nicholas Stevens puts it in the net for his third of the season, an even strength goal. And it's now 3-0 Little Falls.
It seemed like Stevens was out there forever. There was a long shift for the Little Falls Flyers. Earlier in that shift, Stevens had that wraparound attempt that Dykoff made the save on, and the puck went down into the Little Falls zone. The Flyers came back offensively, and Stevens was still out there and scored.
Stevens. Assist to 24, Robbie Kaczynski Helgeson. Time of goal, 2:42.
So Stevenson from Kaczynski Helgeson And it's now 3-0 in favor of the Flyers. And back on the attack. Here's the freshman George Moore coming across the blue line. He'll go into the left corner. Try to center a pass to Mason Doble, who is parked out in front, unable to get it to him, though. Now a tip pass here as Majorly took that shot from the right point, and getting crunched into the corner there was one of the Wolverines by Doble. Puck is loose. Shot taken there and just missed there by Ethan Ballou. I don't know how that didn't go in. That's almost like the putt that Ethan missed. And Ethan's a golfer we'll talk about here in the second intermission. But Ethan took that shot. The net was wide open, and it must have hit somebody and then caromed right, just missing the net.
And his prospects weren't helped by the fact that the net was off behind Josh Dykoff.
13:35 to go here in the second. 3-0 lead. Flyers lead 21-2 in the shot category, too. Played around the boards by Wyatt Murray. Got it over to Phillips. Puck intercepted briefly there by Young as he's tied up along the boards with Phillips. Also in there is Murray. Trying to dig it out of there. Check that, actually, that Pettit in the corner. And a penalty is coming up here now. Once the Flyers touch this, I think we're going to have a penalty.
I think Doble got a little aggressive in the right wing corner offensive zone.
Could be a holding call coming up here on the junior Mason Doble.
Time of the penalty, 3:57 of the second period. Doble box for 2 minutes. It's a Wadena-Deer Creek power play. Third power play of the game for the Wolverines. They're 0 for 2 with the man advantage. Little Falls did score shorthanded back in period 1 from the stick of Matt Philippi.
Some other games going on tonight. Fergus Falls taking on Wilmer. I had a score, and that was 1-0 I saw. Fergus Falls leading Wilmer. And there was Alexandria's on the road tonight against River Lakes. I doubt we're going to get any score updates for that because I think that's in River Lakes.
It's always tough to get scores from River Lakes. Right. Eventually, they show up just a little later in the evening.
Those are some of the section games going on tonight. River Lakes, you know, they're a team to watch, but I think with the not having Peyton Madison playing for them, I think has changed that team a lot.
Of course, River Lakes beat the Little Falls Flyers in the section quarterfinals last season here in Little Falls.
Yeah, Leighton Pettit with a quick shot there, and a nice save by Dane Kuchar. Kuchar's getting tested a little bit more here as he had one shot so far on the power play. Back the other way, shorthanded, which the Flyers do have a shorthanded goal tonight. Here's Stevens with a shot, rolls up on Dykoff, and then Dykoff finds it and smothers it in the blue paint for a faceoff.
Well, Nick Stevens scored 2 goals in Little Falls his first game of the season, a 6-5 win over International Falls. Had not scored since that first game. Has scored here in the second period. He's had a really good period. He's been all over the ice.
Have we found out if he likes to be called Nick or Nicholas?
Well, we haven't officially asked.
Okay. I'll ask that in my interviews.
I thought that the coaching staff has referred to him as Nick, but I could be wrong on that.
That's fine. I'm just checking. I'm checking for my purpose because I haven't actually asked him either. I will get a chance to talk to him sometime this year in our player profile, so we can for sure ask him then, but maybe we'll have to ask him before then. Maybe we can ask him on a road trip or something. 11:45 to go here in the second. Still a power play here for the Wolverines, but they're right now struggling in their own end again to try to get it out. This is Woods. Puck is intercepted by Gustafson, who fires a shot, and that carried him and then went wide. Behind the net there. Once again, it's played here now by Domeyer. Domeyer trying to get it out to center, and finally does come out to neutral ice. Picked up here by Jennings. He fires it back in. 18 seconds left on the power play for the Wolverines. So far, just one shot in very limited presence in the offensive zone. Wow, Jennings just pushed the man down, picks up the puck, fires a shot, and Dykoff makes the save. He just bowled him right over. Out at center now. This is Philippi. He'll dump it in. Penalty time has expired. So one shot and probably about, 10 to 15 second flurry down in the Flyer offensive zone is all that power play was for the Wolverines. 10:50 to go here in the second. 3-0. Little Falls leads Wolverines now dump it in deep. Inez picks it up first for the Flyers, plays it off the right wall, out to center it comes, dump back in. Inez falls down but does get it over to the left wing side to Dempsey. Dempsey takes a big hit there right below us. Buckaloo out there now. Here's Leighton Pettit, gets over to Shirtler. Shirtler's shot on net, save made there by Kuchar, steers that one aside. Phillips picks it up, now tries to get it down to Pettit. Pettit taken down behind the net there by Buckaloo, and out to center, well, almost out to center was Mason Dempsey as he fell down, now picking up the play, coming across the line, onside there was Buckaloo as he trying to get a pass there from Hirsch. Hirsch now intercepts, his pass got intercepted, played to the line, and out to center ice it comes. Inez had it for a shirt time, now Shirtler gets it to Phillips, and Phillips is in. Offside, and we get a whistle of stoppage of play with 9:55 to go here in the second. Still 3-0 Little Falls.
Wolverines need to find a way to activate that first line before tonight's game. 84% of the Wolverines' goals have come from the first line. First line very quiet tonight. We've seen Little Falls have their third line out against Wadena-Deer Creek's first line, and they've been very effective.
We saw Buckaloo out there for the first time on that second line as they were kind of mixing things up a little bit. Tony likes to do that every once in a while. Spot a player. We get some jostling behind the play here, all the way down to the Wolverines' end, about 100 feet away, as that was Ballou there with one of the Wolverines.
Cooper Reed looked like his stick was caught up in the jersey of Ballou.
Cooper Reed, the sophomore, getting his first action here of the game tonight. Out at center ice it comes. Robinson will dump it in deep to the Flyers' end. First to pick up, Mason Dempsey with it. 9:10 to go. Second period, 3-0 score. Puck out to center ice it comes. Flipped up. And then it's dumped right back into the Flyers' zone. Dempsey goes back to pick up the loose puck once again, puts on the brakes at the end wall, reverses it. Little give and go then on the side, picked up there. That was Bjorgi. He got it on the tape there of Young, but Young is, well, are they going to say offsides? I think that's the call. And they say Young is offside, so the faceoff will come outside the zone.
Shots favor Little Falls 24-4. The Flyers have a 3-0 lead. Gabe Hirsch, Matt Philippi, and Nick Stevens have scored for the Flyers. Little Falls has 2 special teams goals, one on the power play, one shorthanded. Wadena-Deer Creek 0-for-3 with the man advantage tonight. That has not helped their cause. However, one of the power plays was only 4 seconds.
Yes. Here's that second line intact for the Flyers now, and Hirsch, Jennings, and Philippi. They're out there. Caught here by Domeyer. Domeyer brings it across the Flyer line for a short time there, and the puck taken away there is Tower Morrison out there now for the first time for the Flyers in that defensive position. He's the 6th defenseman. There's a high shot by Robinson that clinks off the back glass on the end wall behind the netminder Kuchar. Loose puck picked up here now by Rexstead, and a penalty coming up here. It was a Paul Bunyan hack there. And going to the box for the Wolverines, they're going to send, I believe, it will be, let's see who's going in there.
Wyatt Hamann?
That'll be Hamann, yep.
Wyatt Hamann, possibly a tripping minor at 8:56 of the second period, slashing, tripping.
Didn't see the call. We'll see what Jim Brummer says.
23, Wyatt Hamann, 2-minute slashing.
There you go.
Little Falls power play, third of the night. They're 1-for-2 with the man advantage. Power play goal from Gabe Hirsch back in the first period.
And once again, it is a Pizza Ranch power play. If the Flyers score on the power play, you want to be calling number 3 tonight at 632-2306. You win some free pizza in the Pizza Ranch in Little Falls. There's Majerle. He'll dump it in. A little bit too strong there for Gustafson, but Kaczynski-Helgeson picks it up. Now Gustafson back over to Jennings. Now back to Gustafson. Quick shot, a net save made there by Dykoff, and he holds on.
The Flyers power play unit features Kaczynski-Helgeson, Gustafson, and Dempsey. And on the back end of this power play, it's Jennings and Majerle. So you see Jennings move back to play defense on this power play unit.
7:30 to go here in the second. Flyers lead 3-0, 25-4 in favor of the Flyers on the shots. Play comes out to center ice, picked up here by Gunnar Gustafson. Gustafson now will try to bring it across the Wolverine line. He does, sets things up in the left circle. Passes to the left point. Touch there by Jennings. Backhand towards the net. Turnaround shot there by Mason Dempsey. He's the goal-scoring specialist as of late, and that nearly went in, and Dykoff just got the pad over in time to make the save.
Dempsey's job on the power play is to be stationed right in front of the net, and that's where he was, just outside the crease area in front of Josh Dykoff, making it very difficult for Dykoff to see the puck. Some way, somehow, Josh Dykoff was able to make that save.
Face-off coming up in the left circle to the round of the netminder, Dykoff. Back now to Marshall Inez. Inez will play it in deep. Gives it to Philippi. Philippi walks right out, and it just rolled off the tape there, and there was nobody there to take Matt Philippi coming right off the end wall. Down to 50 seconds to go here on the Pizza Ranch power play for the Flyers. Here's Stevens. Out at center ice he comes. Ahead of steam, it comes across the Wolverine line, dumps it in, goes off the end wall now with it, and then lost it there to Robinson. Robinson plays it up and goes up on the dasher and rolls all the way out as Rexted couldn't keep it in. And all the way back down to the Flyers zone. 29 seconds to go here on the power play. Once again, Pizza Ranch power play here for the Flyers. That's center ice now. Picked up here by Stevens. Right wing side to Gabe Hirsch. Trying to bring it across the line. He does. Bumped off the play there by Robinson. Now Stevens picks up the loose puck. Trying to center a pass there to Philippi. And it comes back to the right point to Rexted. Rexted now over to Philippi, the right circle. Now picked up here by Gabe Hirsch at the high slot. Now over to Inez. Inez at the circle. A good shot there. Glove save made. Rebound is loose. Penalty time has expired. We're back to 5-on-5 hockey with 6 minutes to go here in the second in a 3-0 lead. Flyers still on the offensive attack there as Philippi's shot goes wide. Played up to the line and out to center ice here now by Pettit. And then Philippi trying to dig in there with Pettit right in front of the Flyer bench. Also Inez in there. It squirts into the Wolverine zone but unable to keep it in to Stevens. Stevens now will just dump it in and they'll go off on a change. With 5:35 to go in the second and a 3-0 lead for the Flyers. Played back to the point. No, intercepted actually there that time by Justin Dykoff. Dykoff will race after it back in the Flyer zone. First to get there is Devin Young. Young plays it up to his senior captain and teammate there, and that being Rexted. Now over to Ethan Ballou. Ballou now at the right half wall. To the right circle now. Center to pass across. Nobody home there for the Flyers. On the left wing side it was Mason Dempsey. Now gives it to Young. His pass in the slot area. And then it's poked back out to center ice. Now Phillips racing after it. Left wing side. Goes behind the net now of Kucher. Now still with it. Passes it out in front. Intercepted, however, there by Young. Young will turn it back the other way. Young gets it up now to Bjorgi. Bjorgi comes across the blue line. Bjorgi puts on the brakes. Bumped off the puck. Phillips back the other way now with it. Here's a 1-on-3 with Phillips. Coming into play is Schertler now as they come across the Flyer line on the right wing side. In the right corner. Centering a pass. That one dangerously through the crease. Quick shot from the left point there. That one goes wide for the Wolverines. Flyers now pick up the loose puck and skating out to center ice with it. That was Morrison with it. Puck intercepted quickly by the Wolverines. They turn it back once again, down to 4:20 to go here in the second, and still a 3-0 lead for Little Falls. Puck at center ice, picked up here now by Young. Young will play it off the boards, and he'll go off on a change. Played behind the net here by the Wolverines in their own end. This is Cade Woods. Woods will give it off there for a brief time, and it'll be played up to the line, but not out yet as Gabe Hirsch intercepts it at the blue line. Hirsch now will carry it in on the right wall side, trying to get it down to Philippi, who lost the handle with it. Hirsch now in the right place at the right time, gets it back, plays it off the wall, back down to Philippi in the right corner, tried to center a pass out, and it's bumped back out to center ice. Picked up here by Moore. Moore going to pass it out to the right side to Majurley. It bounces in on a one-hopper, and Dykoff will make the save, and we'll finally get a whistle here with 3:40 to go here in the second. Some good pace there. 3-0 Flyers lead.
Smart play by Josh Dykoff. The Wolverines couldn't get a line change. That first line was out there forever, and Dykoff realized that the Wolverines needed to change personnel. Dropped down, covered up, getting a face-off for the Wolverines deep in their own zone. Little Falls has to be slightly frustrated. They fired 27 shots at Dykoff, and only 3 have found the scoring column.
3:35 to go here in the second, and a 3-0 lead for the Flyers. This is Moore keeping it in. He'll play it in deep once again down to the Wolverine zone. Robinson had it briefly there for the Wolverines. Plays it now to the right wall. Touch there by Erholtz, that is. Robinson intercepted. There's a chance, and that one tickled off the side of the twine there that time by Ryan Buckaloo. Buckaloo is out there right now. We got the fourth line out there with A.J. Gammon-Deering, Buckaloo, and Bjorgi. And going back to pick up the loose puck here, this will be Kucher leaving it off. Dangerously playing in front. Now a shot there by Schertler, and the glove save made by Kucher. And Dane will hold on as not a very good play there by Joe Majerle that time as he tried to walk it up the middle and he lost the handle of it. Gave it to Schertler, and Schertler has got a shot. Had a nice shot there.
Wolverines come back with their first line. Pettit, Phillips, Schertler, opposed by the Flyers' first line of Gustafson, Stevens, and Kaczynski-Helgeson.
Played up to the line, but not out yet as Phillips able to keep it in. Behind the net now, Schertler back to Phillips. One-timer and the best save of the night there by Dane Kucher.
Well, it's official. Kucher is awake.
He is. Sixth shot of the game there for Wadena, and that was by far.
That was a great play by the Wolverines and snuffed out by Kucher.
And Schertler, that pass from behind the end wall, out there into wide open Phillips. And Phillips, he knows how to deposit the puck. He's got 75 goals in his career.
The Wolverines' first line starting to heat up a little bit. They've had 2 consecutive good shifts, and unfortunately they're offsides at the blue line, but that was a great scoring chance. Colby Schertler works hard. He's along the end boards there, got that pass out to Phillips, and the one-time shot was denied by Kucher.
Layden Pettit just a stride too late to get back to touch up there. Otherwise, Phillips might have been in with a head of steam. 2:16 to go here in the second. 3-0 is our score. Don't forget, coming up in intermission number 2 for our radio listeners, we'll have another Flyer player profile. We'll talk with Ethan Ballou, the senior who wears number 10. Speaking of that, he's out there right now. There's a cross-ice pass, too strong to handle there to Bjorgi. There's Nolan Bjorgi getting some playing time once again. Here is Ethan Ballou. High shot, glove save made there by Dykoff, and Josh Dykoff will hold on for another whistle down in his zone with 1:55 to go here in the second, and a 3-0 lead for the Flyers.
Little Falls led 2-0 after 1 first-period goals from Hershey and Philippi. Only goal in the second period from the stick of sophomore Nick Stevens.
Here's Ballou now. Try to center a pass out, looking for Nolan Bjorgi. Bjorgi now in the corner with it. Bjorgi tries to walk out in the slot, and that puck just nearly squirted into the blue paint, and just enough for Josh Dykoff to dive out with the glove and smother it there for a faceoff.
In Dykoff's first varsity start, which was a week ago this coming Friday against Proctor, he allowed the first 2 shots of the game went in. And then he shut the door on Proctor, stopping 34 of 34 after that, and the Rails did get an empty net goal. So it was kind of a shaky beginning for Dykoff in terms of his varsity career, but he has really settled in here, especially tonight.
There's Rexted with a quick shot. That one hit traffic. Now another chance by Rexted, try to center it out. Dykoff got a piece of it there and out of position, but luckily for the goaltender, the puck stays behind the net, and this will be cleared the length of the ice. Icing coming up here against the Wolverines. We'll bring it back down in the Wolverine zone with 1:15 to go here in the second. A 3-0 lead. Shots 30-6 in favor of the Flyers.
And Wadena-Deer Creek will come with that first line. Pettit, Phillips, Schertler. Opposed by it's Little Falls' second line. Jennings, Philippi, and Hirsch. 2/3 of Little Falls' goals tonight have come from this second line, Hirsch and Philippi.
Face-off will be redone again. Once again, Layden Pettit in there on the draw along with Gabe Hirsch, who's going to win the battle this time. And it looks like it'll go to Pettit. But it'll be flipped down by Philippi to Hirsch to try almost a pass right back to Jennings, just a little bit out of the reach behind him. If that passes on, Jennings has a little quick tip, and maybe it's 4-0. Inside a minute to go here in the second period. Puck never must have left the zone because Philippi never left it. Philippi centered a pass out to Hirsch, and then Hirsch got hit after the whistle.
Smart play by Dykoff as that puck came from the right wing corner, and Dykoff kind of went down more like a soccer goaltender to make that save before the puck could get through diagonally to a hard driving Gabe Hirsch.
So Jennings will center that once again line of Hirsch and Philippi, which they played very well tonight. 45 seconds to go here in the second. Played around the zone all the way down, back into the Flyer end it comes. That'll be picked up here by Mason Dempsey. Dempsey lost the handle there, and then Philippi gets some help. Here's a 3-on-2 developing, some speed. Let's watch Matt Philippi with a lot of speed. Backhand attempt, just missed that one wide.
Dykhoff came right out to challenge him.
Good opportunity there once again for the 8th grader for the Flyers. Out to center, back the other way, 2-on-1 maybe developing. Shirtler trying to get it back to Phillips. Phillips is pulled down, and then he ends up in the net as Kuchar is on top of him. And I believe George Moore is going to go to the box. 2 minutes for a penalty here.
The Wolverines were on the rush, and Moore took down a Wolverine. Immediately, I looked to our right to see the reaction from Scott Woods.
Mason Dempsey talking with the official over here, thinking, is that a dive?
No,
I think it wasn't. It looks like Moore just got enough of them. So the interference call is coming up here.
Time of the penalty to George Moore, 16:45 of the second. And it's a power play for Wadena-Deer Creek, their fourth of the night. They're 0 for 3 with the man advantage.
All parties look to be okay. Dane Kuchar's fine. Max Phillips is fine as those two collided in the net.
Looks like they had to reset the net. So from Wadena-Deer Creek's perspective, a little unfortunate that they get their fourth power play, but it's going to be a broken power play in terms of they'll start it here in the period. If they don't score, they'll resume in the third.
Only 15 seconds here, so you almost have a full power play in the second period if you can't score here in the first. Not as bad as if it was a minute or something. Still, though, the Wolverines will be on the power play here for the next 2 minutes. And a monster hit. Wow! Stevens and Phillips collided.
Phillips making a statement.
Yeah, Phillips actually there took it two-handed and pushed it right across Stevens, and Stevens went down hard, and I think he even hit his head too. Looks like he's okay though. Now he's going over talking to the referee.
Dempsey went over and had a few words for Phillips in terms of that hit on Stevens. It was just low enough that it didn't draw a penalty, but Max Phillips makes a statement.
Phillips is just kind of loitering around right now as the Flyers are at center ice waiting for Dane to come across to say hi to him.
But Dempsey,
the officials were like, get away both here. So this third period could heat up a little bit.
Dempsey wasn't afraid to skate right over to Phillips.
No, he wasn't.
And he wasn't asking about Christmas plans either.
Probably not. All right, well, we have 1:45 on the power play to start the third, and a 3-0 lead here for the Flyers after 2 as the teams will go to the locker room and they will maybe settle down a little bit. Well, I guess we'll wait and see. We'll take a break on the radio side of things. When we come back, we'll talk with Ethan Ballou. That coming up after this 2-minute timeout on fallsradio.com and Q92. And once again, for our viewing audience on YouTube and Channel 191, Flyer Media Productions, I want to first of all say thanks to the crew tonight. And I know, Jamie, you got the names of those 3 individuals that are working behind the scenes tonight.
Well, we've got an all-star crew tonight.
Absolutely.
Austin Moore,
a young crew, too.
Owen Kircher, and James Fry, along with advisor Mark Deal. They do a great job, our production crew.
Absolutely, and it's amazing that there's only 3 of them, and I think they're all middle schoolers, if I remember right. So it's great. I mean, great job by them, and of course, Mark Deal does an outstanding job with this, and we've enjoyed this. It's been a lot of fun, and we're just glad to be a part of it.
We have a good time. Chuck-a-puck. We didn't buy our Chuck-a-pucks tonight. We participated on Saturday. I had 2. I handed one off to Chris Dobus' daughter. I thought she had a really nice attempt. I did very poorly on Saturday. These are really light foam rubber pucks, and you really have to whip them to get them out there.
That you do.
And boy, I was lucky to get it to the blue line, let alone to center ice.
I had mine actually roll right through the circle, and then it just kept rolling. I think it might have ended up down in the old Zamboni area. I know my daughters are here too. I don't know where theirs ended up, but nobody came home with anything.
No prize winners.
No prize winners. Extra things at all whatsoever. Hey, let's take a quick look at the scoring summary, just briefly for our TV audience here, and we'll give that full summary. But just one one goal scored here in the second
And
period.
it came from Nick Stevens at 2:42 of the period, his third of the season. A single assist on the play to Robbie Kaczynski-Helgeson. Stevens from Kaczynski-Helgeson, 2:42 of the second, only goal of the period.
With Ethan Ballou.
And Little Falls has a 3-0 lead. They take that 3-0 lead into the second period intermission. Shots favor the Flyers, 31-6. In the second period, 13 shots for Little Falls, 5 for Wadena-Deer Creek, but not nearly as much time for the Flyers in the offensive zone. Wadena-Deer Creek did make some adjustments, and they were able to get the puck back into the safety net of the neutral zone.
All right, for our TV audience, we're going to take a break, and for our radio audience, we're going to have our interview coming up. We'll be back after this short timeout here on TV here on Flyer Media Productions. 3-0 is our score. Little Falls Flyers lead the Wadena-Deer Creek Wolverines. Welcome back to intermission number 2. We continue on with the player profiles, and we'll continue on with the senior class, the guy that wears number 10, that being Ethan Ballou. And Ethan, you and I had a chance to talk last year, obviously, and get to know you a little bit more. Let's talk about, I guess, over the off season. What did you do to get yourself prepared for your senior year?
Well, I worked out, I ran some, that's about it.
And I know you're a golfer, too, right? So you got a few swings in, huh?
Yeah,
How'd the golf game go this year for you?
pretty good. I missed state by 1, but it's all right. I got next year.
Well, that's the thing. Obviously, you know, the game of golf, just one putt here, one chip there, one, missed thing. I mean, it happens. But to be that close, that's got to be a thrill for you to give you an opportunity maybe for this year.
Yeah, I can't wait for this year.
Let's talk about the hockey season. And obviously, coming into this year, being a senior, you knew you were going to be one of the leaders. And did you realize your team was going to be this young this year?
Yeah, I did, but, I mean, they've been playing really well lately, so hopefully they can keep doing that for the rest of the season.
What do you think your role is going to be this year, especially with the youngsters coming in?
My role is probably going to be showing them, like, the ropes and everything about it, and it's not like Bantams. It's a lot different.
What's one thing that you've learned now since you've been at the varsity level that maybe you can help these guys out with?
It's a lot faster, bigger guys, a lot more hitting.
And you're not a big guy at all, so you get mucked around a little bit in the corners, don't you?
A little bit.
But you like to muck it up too, don't you?
Yeah.
That's fun, isn't it? What's it like playing on that? You're playing on the third line right now, and obviously Devin Young is on that line, Mason Doble, and you guys have been out there, kind of the workhorse line. Haven't had a lot of points and success that way, but you put in some good minutes so far, haven't you?
Yes, we have.
Talk about playing with those guys out on the ice.
They're good players. They're fast. I mean, they're not the biggest kids out there, but they'll use their body.
And that's the thing. And, when you're on that third line, that's an important line. Sometimes you go, oh, I'm the third liner. But, no, that's a very important line, isn't it?
Yes.
And talk about, I guess, this year with the defense and that. You got some younger guys back there and a new goaltender in Dane Kuchar. How's that been going this year so far?
Pretty well. I mean, they're pretty young. They're still learning, and I think we'll be fine when the end of the season comes around.
Are you excited about this season compared maybe to last season?
Yes, I mean, we got those younger kids that are really good, and I think we should be pretty well going into the end of the season.
The one question I always have is, when you get younger kids that play for a while and then they get the grind at the end, do they wear out a little bit? Do you think these kids will be okay?
Honestly, I think they'll be fine. I mean, they're pretty tough kids, and I think they'll be all right.
Very cool, very cool. Off the ice, what did you do this year? Besides, I know you're a golfer. Did you do any hunting, fishing, any of those kind of things?
Yeah, I hunt and I fish, and then I worked a lot this summer too.
Okay. Where'd you work at?
Little Falls Golf Course.
Oh yeah, there you go. You had to do that. So you got. What did you do at the golf course then? In the clubhouse or out on the course?
Ground screw.
Ground screw. Okay. Now I got a chance to hack up the course a little bit for you, so hopefully I didn't leave too many divots for you this year.
Yeah.
Did you see my divots?
Oh yeah.
Oh, thanks. Feeling the love, Ethan. Hey, one big thing, obviously, being your senior year and graduation's coming up in May. Have you decided what you want to do once you graduate here from Little Falls?
I kind of want to go into something in business. I think I'm going to go to St. Cloud State.
Okay. Anything particular in business, or just right now just kind of a general degree in that?
A general degree.
Okay. Very cool. Very cool. State tournament is always the goal for every team, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. What is it going to take for you guys this year to get over the hump and maybe get a chance to go to the state tournament?
Well, our systems have to be down to a key. I think that's a big part of it, and
Working hard and hopefully getting a little luck too, right?
Yeah.
Luck always helps too. Hey, Ethan, a lot of fun chatting with you. I wish you the best of luck this year. Continue to get out there, be strong, score some goals too, and maybe we'll score a goal tonight, because normally the old adage is when I interview you, you score a goal. So no pressure put on you, but we'll see if you've scored, all right?
Thank you.
Once again, that is the guy that wears number 10. He's the senior. That is Ethan Ballou.
And Ethan almost scored. I thought he had a goal here, and it hit something and just went wide, didn't it?
That was the play that the net came off behind Dykoff, and like I had mentioned at the time, I don't think that helped his cause. You didn't ask him what his handicap is.
I did not.
He's a golfer. You should ask him what his handicap is. I'm curious how he stacks up against Flyer assistant coach Chris Dobus. I think Dobus is a scratch golfer. If he's not a scratch golfer, he's close.
I think he's either a 0 or a 1.
And he plays from the left side.
Yeah.
He plays from the left side of the ball, but boy, can he hit a straight tee shot.
Yeah.
You want him on your scramble team. He can hit the ball out there a mile, and it's straight.
True story, though, this year, and I can say this because I remember what happened, but Ethan Ballou actually was the runner-up this year for the club championship. Bob Ottman won it for the first time ever, which was awesome for him. Chris Dobus, I believe, finished 4th. So actually, Ethan beat Chris in the club championship this year.
We could have a little made-for-TV match. Who needs Mickelson and Woods when we can have Ballou and Dobus?
Absolutely, and
on Flyer Media Productions, of course.
And as you talked about in the interview,
I'll be the on-course commentator, and you can call it from the booth.
Okay, and like he had said in the interview, he missed going to state by 1 stroke. So hopefully this year,
his handicap's pretty low.
Yeah.
He'd have to give us some shots.
Yeah.
We'd be negotiating for shots.
I'm sure your handicap is better than my handicap. We're not going to talk about my handicap, so let's just leave it at that for now. So
you don't want to disclose it.
Well, I don't know. Well,
was it double digits?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
All right. Does it have a 2 in front of it?
It might.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Well, we won't go any farther.
Yeah, we're not going to go any farther.
No sense in getting into that.
Absolutely. No talk anymore about my handicap. I'm just happy to get out and play last year, and hopefully the handicap can continue to go down. So
it's a frustrating game.
It is. Speaking of frustrating, as we're back here once again on channel 181, Flyer Media Productions on YouTube, for the Wolverines, it's been frustrating because they only have 6 shots on the board.
But it was less frustrating in the second period because they were able to spend some time in the offensive zone. And the good news is, period 3 starts for Wadena-Deer Creek with 1 minute and 45 seconds of power play. They're 0 for 3 with the man advantage. They start period 3 down 3 goals, but they have a golden opportunity to get right back in it. And we'll see if that dust up at the end of the period, where Phillips just ran over Stevens, must have, obviously legally, because there was no penalty on the play, but then as the horn sounded, ending the end of the second period, that's when Dempsey skated over and I've had a few choice words for Phillips.
Nick Stevens likes to muck it up with guys, doesn't he?
We made that same comment in the Alexandria game, as he seemed to have been getting under the skin of Doherty and Westland in that particular game.
Yeah, well, and obviously you know Max Phillips. What's his personality like?
He's a really good kid.
So,
he's a nice, personable kid. I was up with you. I was talking to Jason Murray and Scott Woods, and Tim Bjorgi was up there, and Phillips came by, stopped by, greeted me. He's a really nice kid.
So kind of out of character for him.
Well, he's aggressive
in the competition.
He's very competitive. He's aggressive, but off the ice, he's a good kid.
Oh yeah, no, nothing wrong with that. But on the ice, you know, I didn't play the game of hockey, but if I would, I probably would have been the instigator of things.
You know, Phillips is going to do whatever he has to at this point with Wadena down 3-0, and if he can apply a legal check at the blue line like he did to hopefully spark the Wolverines, he'll do it.
Well, the Wolverines do need to get something going, and this is the perfect time for them to do it on a power play. And why not start off the period with a goal? Because that'll get you back into the game. Only 1 goal to tell you about in the second period. It's brought to you by Schlenner, Wenner & Company, their local independent CPA firm right here in Little Falls, and now in their new location by the dam on the Mississippi River. And with more, here's Jamie Pettit.
Little Falls had a 2-0 lead after 1 period of play. Hirsch and Philippi scored for the Flyers in period 1. In the second, only one goal, 2:42 of the second, third goal of the season for Nick Stevens. Single assist, Robbie Kaczynski-Helgeson. Stevens from Kaczynski-Helgeson, 2:42 of the second. Little Falls led 3-0. The Flyers took a 3-0 lead into the second period intermission. Shots on goal in the second, 13 for Little Falls, 5 for Wadena-Deer Creek. Through 2 periods, Little Falls with a 31-6 shots on goal advantage. Sophomore Dane Kuchar tending net for Little Falls tonight, 5 of 5 in the second. Through 2 periods, Kuchar perfect, 6 of 6. Josh Dykoff, the Bantam-eligible freshman for the Wadena-Deer Creek Wolverines, in the second was 12 of 13. Through 2 periods, nothing to sneeze at from Dykoff's perspective, 28 of 31. Little Falls, 4 minor penalties tonight. Wadena-Deer Creek 0 for 3 on the power play, but Wadena-Deer Creek does start period 3 with 1 minute and 45 seconds on the man advantage. 3 minors against Wadena-Deer Creek tonight, and the Little Falls Flyers are 1 for 3 on the power play. Wadena-Deer Creek is 3-1. Little Falls is 2-2. 2 periods complete from the Exchange Arena in Little Falls, and it's the Little Falls Flyers leading 3-0.
2 periods complete down in Wilmer, and it is a 3-3 tie between Fergus Falls and the Wilmer Cardinals. And after 2 periods of play, 3-3 in the second period. Buffalo and St. Cloud as they're battling in Buffalo tonight. And of course, no score yet on the River Lakes Alexandria game. I want to bring you in. We didn't get a chance to talk about this, the Section 6A, kind of our predictions last week. We briefly said something, but wanted to really kind of run down that just here since we do have a couple minutes here for the start of the third period. I guess we kind of know that you like Cathedral as your top team. I kind of like the Cardinals as my top team, but after that, kind of what's your predictions?
Well, we're just quickly on St. Cloud Cathedral. They're 3-0 this year. They've outscored their opponents 23-2, and 2 of those wins are against War Road and East Grand Forks. Right now, Cathedral, I feel, is the favorite. They play Alexandria next Tuesday night. It's Alexandria and St. Cloud Cathedral, the only time they play during the regular season, and that could go a long way in determining the number 1 seed. I've got Little Falls 3, Sartell 4, Fergus 5, River Lake 6, Wadena-Deer Creek 7, Prairie Center 8, Breckenridge Wahpeton 9, and Morris Benson 10. Now, Wadena, of course, could improve upon that position because they play River Lakes this year. They've not played River Lakes before. They play the Fergus Falls Otters, and of course they get this 1-game shot with the Little Falls Flyers. They're down 3 goals after 2 periods, but games within the section are critically important. They go a long way in determining where you're going to get seated.
One thing for the Flyers this year, they only play Sartell once, they only play Cathedral once this year, so that is going to be interesting too. You don't have a chance to bounce back, but then again, on the other side of it, if you somehow pull off the upset win, you don't have to worry about playing them again until the playoffs.
Well, and you look at Section 6 from last season. Alexandria was a 3 seed. They went into the Section 6A playoffs as a 3 seed. They beat St. Cloud Cathedral in double overtime in the Section 6A championship game, and then went on to the state tournament, losing by a goal to Orono. That shows how tough Section 6A is, where where Alexandria comes out as a 3 seed and ends up runner-up in the Class A state tournament. Could be another battle again this year.
Guess my question for you is, you have Little Falls ahead of Sartell. Your reasoning for that?
I like the way the Flyers played early on in the season. Now, of course, those were my predictions prior to the season starting. I was really impressed with the Little Falls Bantam A team last year. And a number of these Bantam A's are playing a prominent role on the varsity team. I saw the Bantam A team play a few times last year, and Dane Kuchar's such a well-oiled machine in goal. He's played very well through the first 4 games for the Little Falls Flyers. I just think that Little Falls has a really good chance to claim a top 3 seed because of the play of those Bantams from last season. They've transitioned nicely into the high school game.
Sartell, though, was in the state tournament, too, in that Bantam tournament
as
well.
Yes, they were.
So there's both those teams. So, I mean,
that's a good point. Yes, that Sartell Sabre team was in the Bantam A state tournament, and they actually placed better than Little Falls did.
Yes.
And Ryan Hacker's the head coach at Sartell. His son was on that Bantam A team, and his son is now onto the varsity team.
So I'm going to flip-flop kind of your picks. I'm going to go Alex 1, St. Cloud 2, and then I'm going to go Sartell 3, Little Falls 4. That's how I'm going to take the top 4.
All right, puck is down. We're underway with the third period. And a 3-0 lead for the Flyers. The Wolverines are on the power play. Dykoff to my right and to my left is Kucher. Those are the netminders for this game today. This is Pettit. His pass too strong for Schertler, and icing is the call. And you don't ever love to have an icing call when you have the power play.
That's a sluggish start for the Wolverines to open the period on the power play. 26 seconds in, they send the puck down the length of the ice. They're called for icing. 1:20 on the Wolverine power play, down 3 goals.
Face off in the right circle, one there this time by the Wolverines. And intercepted here and trying to blast that one and just kind of putting it towards the net and tipped there with Stevens. Stevens now with it. Good job here on the forecheck, just killing some time. Good job on the penalty kill. Minute to go yet on that penalty to George Moore that he's serving back from the second period. Pettit pass out, intercepted there by Rexted. Rexted and Pettit collide. Puck picked up here by Schertler now. Schertler moving in right wing side, shot on net. Kucher makes the save and just off the stick and out to center ice off of Woods. Picked back up here by Robinson, gets over to Woods, nearly intercepted there by Stevens. Stevens now whacking one chance there at Robinson. He was able to hold on to it, brings it across the line, goes into the corner with it. 15:40 to go here in the third. 24 seconds left on the power play for the Wolverines. Intercepted there and cleared the length of the ice. No, it's not, as it was knocked down at the blue line there by Justin Dykoff. As trying to clear it out of there was Rexted. Now it will be cleared out and all the way down by Gabe Hirsch, and that might kill the rest of the penalty unless they hurry it up very quickly. Robinson has it at center ice. Nobody collides there as everybody backs off. Penalty time's expired. Moore comes out of the box. Tripped up at center ice there was Kaczynski Helgeson, and it'll now be controlled here by the Wolverines as we're back to 5-on-5 hockey. Wolverines have it at center ice. Once again, Robinson with it. He's bumped there as Kaczynski Helgeson, and Robinson is shaken up, and he went down right away in a heap. And hasn't moved much either as he's right in front of the Flyer bench. Wesley Watashi coming out immediately. And Wesley now and also coming out there is Trent.
It's the second time in the game that Robinson's been down for Wadena-Deer Creek.
Not exactly sure as Scott Woods now comes off from the bench and is asking here. Looks like maybe the back area or something is what even Wesley Watashi had mentioned. Now it's good to see that Robinson is getting up. And looks like he's going to skate off on his own power.
Well, Kaczynski Helgeson, 5'10", 190 pounds. And Robinson and Kaczynski Helgeson, a pretty good collision right at the Little Falls Flyer blue line, and Robinson immediately went down. Fortunately, back off onto the Wolverine bench on his own power. He's being checked out now by Trent the trainer.
Face off just outside the Flyer blue line. One there by the Wolverines. Lairn will dump it in deep. 14:45 to go here in the third. Little Falls leading 3-0, 2-0 after 1, 3-0 after 2. That's where we're at right now. Face-off was won by the Wolverines. They dumped it in the zone. Flyers dump it back out, and now it's played at center ice here by Pettit. Pettit comes across the blue line. Tough angle shot there. Pretty easy save there for Kucher. Pettit tries to send it towards the net once again, and players jostling a little bit behind the play there. There's Pettit along there with Mason Dempsey. They've been tangled up now. Here's Pettit coming across the line, and a save made there by Dane Kucher. That one kind of handcuffed him a little bit. I wonder if he was screened by his own defenseman there. Does make the save. Now rolling down. Here's a takedown now. That's Pettit along with Ballou.
Have you done wrestling on the radio before? You might need to brush up on your skills. Where's Al Winsberger?
I was just going to say Dwight Ballou was a wrestler. Actually a school teacher here at the middle school. Shop teacher. An all-star, all-state wrestler he was too. So the Ballou name has some wrestling in there, and Ethan was trying a little wrestling move there on Pettit. Does Pettit have any wrestling?
Not that I'm aware of. You know? Does he get points for an escape?
I don't know, but it did look like Ethan was trying to take down there, didn't he? Try to pull over or something. I know I've done a couple wrestling matches,
And I'm not the guy that you want to have radio broadcast for wrestling, okay?
It looks like Pettit might be a penalized Wolverine, as Pettit may have taken down Gabe Hirsch along the end boards.
Yeah, they were rolling around on the end there.
Time of the third period penalty, 3:37.
Holding the stick is the penalty.
And it is to Leighton Pettit, ushered to the penalty box. Little Falls to the power play, fourth time tonight. Flyers are 1 for 3 with the man advantage. That power play goal came back in the first period off the stick of Gabe Hirsch.
Leighton shaking his head going, I didn't do anything. Trying to make some last second changes here was Tony Kuchar. I think he got what he wanted. Oh, no, this might get changed. Wait a minute now.
Kuchar's got Buckaloo, Gammon Deering, and Doble up front on this power play. Kind of an unconventional power play unit for Little Falls. Defensively.
Also on Little Falls, number 9, Gabe Hirsch, 2 minutes holding.
Oh, they took them both.
They took Hirsch,
They took them both. So scratch that. Not a Flyer power play. They took Hirsch and Pettit. Yep. Offsetting Miners at 3:37.
There you go. It's our vantage point here. We never can see that second guy
anything. We can't see anything related to the penalty boxes. The penalty boxes are right below us. It's almost like we need a little jigsaw.
Shot, score! And Mason Doble has his first goal of the season. And nice work job that time by A.J. Gammon-Deering and Ryan Buckaloo. They made that all happen. And the pass came out right to the stick of Mason Doble, and the junior has his second career goal, an even strength goal, and it's now 4-0 Flyers.
Gammon, Deering, and Buckaloo haven't seen much action for the Flyers tonight, but they make the most of the opportunity, and it's Doble that finishes it off.
Scored by number 28, Mason Doble. Assist to number 3, A.J. Gammon-Deering. Time of the goal.
So Gammon-Deering will get the assist. Buckaloo actually got the original shot. The save was made. Then Gammon-Deering picked up the puck, threw it out in front. And that's where a wide open net there for Mason Doble to shoot it in. And it's now 4-0 with 12:40 to go here in the third. Robinson for the Wolverines firing it towards the netminder Kuchar. That was knocked down by Rexted. Oh, a big hit right below us here as Phillips just laid out A.J. Gammon-Deering right into his own bench. And now Phillips got hit there by Rexted. Something going on with Max Phillips tonight in the Flyers, huh?
He's been bumped around a few times.
Out at center ice now, picked up here. Gustafson had it briefly. And Stevens back in his own end. Passes over to Rexted. Comes across the line, puts on the brakes, and takes a shot. That one just deflected wide by the Dykoff goaltender. Oh, in the corner there, that's Shirtler.
That's going to be probably a 5-minute major.
Well, let's see.
It's checking from behind.
It is. The check from behind, and that's going to be a 5 and 10.
Yep, that was fairly obvious.
And Shirtler will be done for the night.
5-minute major, automatically accompanied by a 10-minute misconduct. Checking from behind, Wadena-Deer Creek's Colby Shirtler.
Is there an out call though on that doesn't have to be a 5 and 10?
Well, they could call boarding. 5-minute major for boarding.
Because one of the officials does come over, but the initial call was if he showed.
I'm sure they're discussing whether it should be a game misconduct. Whether it's just going to be a 10-minute misconduct or a game misconduct. And Max Phillips is there having a discussion with one of the referees. So we'll see if it's just a 10-minute misconduct or a game misconduct. I'm thinking it's just a 5-minute major and a 10-minute misconduct for checking from behind. That means Little Falls is going to have a 5-minute major power play up 4-0.
Which basically means that Shirtler's done unless this game goes into overtime. That's the only chance he'll get if it's a 5 and 10, which it's like you said.
Well, they signal checking from behind, so if it's checking from behind, unless it's an open ice checking from behind,
right.
They don't consider it against the boards, but it was against the boards. So an open ice checking from behind would just be a 5-minute major.
Well, they got 2 guys in the box, so it's going to be a 5 and 10.
5 and a 10.
Yep. They got all sorts of people in the box.
Full house.
penalty, number 9, Colby Scheckler, 5 minutes checking from behind and a 10-minute misconduct.
So there you go. So the Pizza Ranch power play in effect for the next 5 minutes here, unless the Flyers have a penalty, and that nullifies that. 4-0 lead here, so if the Flyers score on the power play, you want to be caller number 3 at 632-2306. You win some pizza, a large pizza from the Pizza Ranch in Little Falls. Dan Rexted's already done that tonight. Quick shot there by Jennings. Save is made. This is where you got to, for the Flyers, they need to not get lazy. Sometimes when you have a 5-minute power play, you don't move your feet. You just kind of stand around and keep things going.
It's the unlimited buffet. When you've got the 5-minute major, you can score as many times as you want, and the Wolverines are going to stay shorthanded.
11 minutes to go here in the hockey game. 4 minutes to go here on the major penalty. Once again, that penalty to Colby Schertler. 5 minutes for checking from behind, the 10-minute misconduct. So his night most likely over unless the Wolverines are able to tie this one up and send it to overtime. Puck held in, at least for a short time there, by Rexted. Now Philippi plays it in a little bit deeper. Playing around the boards here. Laren gets there first. Can't clear it out, though. Now Stevens has it on the end. Well, nice pass there. That one just wide there by Philippi. Stevens and Philippi trying to work together again. This time Stevens in the slot back to Philippi, and Philippi just couldn't get the handle of it. If he hangs onto it a little bit more, he just goes right around Dykhoff and an easy goal.
That was a crafty little pass from Stevens onto the stick of Philippi.
This will be cleared the length of the ice, but right onto the netminder, Dane Kuchar.
Yeah. Good news is it's a shot on goal for Wadena-Deer Creek, their 8th of the game.
First shot here in 7 minutes into the period. Out at center ice now. Check that second shot. They had 7 up on the board. I thought that was actually just giving it to them, but nope, it's 8 now shots. And their second here. That'll be cleared the length of the ice by the Wolverines. Kuchar leaves it off. Behind his own net to Rexted. They start things up. 2:40 to go here. Really haven't had much presence, though, in the offensive zone here. Stevens comes across the line. Gives it to Gustafson now. Gustafson has it in the left circle. Gustafson now still at the left circle. High slot now. Goes over to the right side. This is shot taken there by Majurli. It was knocked down in front. Good job played here by Justin Dykhoff. Can't clear it out of the zone. Flyers able to keep it in. Into the corner they go. Dempsey puts his man into the boards, that being Woods in the corner, and now picked up here by Max Phillips. Max has got a shorthanded goal in his career, just one only that I have, at least on my sheet here. Back now around here, coming into the center ice. This is Jennings with it. 2 minutes to go here on the major penalty time. Jennings still, shot taken, knocked down there nicely by Robinson. Now Kaczynski Helgeson behind the net, and then the official got in the way of that, which stopped play a little bit. Now picked up here by Dempsey. Dempsey now on the right wall. Plays it into the right corner. Around to the left side it goes. Picked up here now on the tape of Gunnar Gustafson. He's at the left point. He'll go down to the corner with it. Little give and go pass there. Now Jennings over to Majurli. Shot on net. Save is made. Goaltender got knocked over here by Mason Dempsey. And that, surprised is not even a penalty there. It's probably goalie interference.
Well, we talked about it earlier. On this power play unit, Mason Dempsey's job is to be stationed right outside the crease in front of the goaltender. That time he got a little rambunctious and ran over Dykhoff. No call on the play. Prior to that, it was Joe Majurli drooping all the way down to the right faceoff dot. Took a good controlled shot, and the save was made by Dykhoff. Still 1:24 to go in this major power play for the Little Falls Flyers. A 5-minute major for checking from behind, 10-minute misconduct to Wadena-Deer Creek's Colby Schertler.
8:13 to go here in the game. 4-0 Little Falls leads. Rexted now. Shot that goes wide. Screen there was Dykhoff off the end wall. Trying to pick it up there with Stevens. Maybe even just fired off of Dykhoff. It comes to the point. On the right side, this is Rexted again. Glove save made. Rebound is loose. Picked up there by Stevens behind the net. Tried to pass it to Philippi. Now Stevens gets it back. Gets it back to the right point. That's Rexted with it. Now over to Stevens, the right circle. Shot on net. Save made there. Rebound is loose in front. Underneath the goalie, Dykhoff. And finally, the official blows the whistle. with 7:39 to go here in the third. Little Falls leading 4-0. Shots are 38-8 in favor of the Flyers, and still 45 seconds left on that major penalty time.
But Little Falls has not been able to score on this major power play, as Josh Dykoff has clearly been the best penalty killer for Wadena-Deer Creek during this disadvantage, as he should be.
Philippi can't win the draw from Pettit, but Stevens is able to push it towards the net. Stevens now has it on the left wing side of the left circle to the left half wall. Stevens now, quick shot on net. It goes off the stick there of Dykoff, and then you got the lucky or quick whistle there as the puck actually never was covered up.
Well, 3 of the 4 goals tonight have been scored by the 3 forwards on this power play unit. Hirsch, Philippi, and Stevens, and all 3 have definitely played well.
Here's Hirsch, back to Inez. Inez to Hirsch, a little give and go back to Inez. Right side to Stevens, the right circle. Right point there to Rexton, back to Stevens. Now down low, got it to Philippi. 20 seconds left here on the 5-minute major. Stevens once again, now in the slot. One-timer there by Rexton, that tipped wide. Inez comes in from the left point, plays it down to Gabe Hirsch. 8 seconds left on the Pizza Ranch power play. Little give and go here. Shot by Philippi, tried to go backside with it, and great job there by Dykoff to slide over and make the save.
And it looks like Wadena-Deer Creek is going to get out of this major unscathed. There's just 2 seconds remaining in the Flyer power play. The Wolverines, great job with the penalty kill. The 5-minute major to Schertler about to expire. Unfortunately, though, Schertler's 10-minute misconduct starts after the 5-minute major ends.
Yeah, and of course he's one of those 3 guys on that line that has 84% production. Well, I guess after the power play goal, no power play goal, it's an even strength goal, and Devin Young has got his first of the season.
Devin Young, just a rocket from the left side between the left face-off circle and the left boards. A good shot from Young, an aggressive shot that finally gets by Dykoff. Dykoff had played so well here in the third period, and Young just rips one past Dykoff for a 5-0 Flyer lead.
11, Devin Young. Time of the goal, 10-12.
So Devin Young with an unassisted goal. It's his first of the year, 8th of his career. And that third line has had no goals coming into tonight's game, and they've scored 2 tonight. That's a great sign for the Flyers. 6:25 to go here in the contest. 5-0 Little Falls leads. Puck played in the Wolverines end. Robinson, outlet pass too strong to handle there by Reese, and they say no icing. So it could have been played or it might have been tipped. Out at center, Ballou now dumps it in, takes a hit, and dumped right back in by the Wolverines. Kuchar goes back, he'll leave it off there for Morrison. Morrison gives it to Ballou. Ballou right wing side. Ballou goes around with a would-be check there at center ice. Dumps it into the corner. Hamann now dumps it out to center. Pass up, picked up here by Ehrholz. Ehrholz goes behind the net, collides there with George Moore. Phillips now in the corner. Trying to dig it out of there is Devin Young, who just recently scored the 5th goal for the Flyers. 5:30 to go here in this one. And a 5-0 lead for Little Falls over Wadena-Deer Creek. Shots are 41-8 in favor of the Flyers. Flyers have to touch up on side here as they're in on a delay. They do so. And then A.J. Gammon-Deering will dump it in. Dykoff coming way out of the crease area. Puck flutters in front. Here's Buckaloo. Easy goal. And Ryan Buckaloo has his 2nd career goal. First of the year. And it's now 6-0, and that will put us into running time.
Well, Dykoff went to go behind the net to play the puck, kind of stumbled, got tangled up before he could get back to in position where he needed to be, and it was Buckaloo swooping in and just kind of got it up high enough to beat Dykoff. 6th goal of the night for Little Falls. They lead 6-0. Dykoff was trying to be aggressive back behind the net, and it didn't pay off.
Assist to number 3, A.J. Gammon-Deering. Goal, 11-15.
That 4th line has even come up with some points tonight.
Dykoff just couldn't get back in position in time as he got trapped back there, and that can happen. There was way too much traffic, and Buckaloo, the recipient of the Dykoff mistake.
A.J. Gammon-Deering, the senior, has got 2 assists. His first varsity assist and now second varsity assist in his career. So a nice night for him. Down to 4:35 to go here. A 6-0 game means that 6-goal differential in the third means running time. Ooh, there's a big hit there, and hopefully John Olberg is okay as Gustafson took him out. Dangerous hit there. It was a clean hit, I think, but still in an awkward position. Coming across the line, quick shot there by Stevens. That one goes wide of the net. Still down to the Wolverines' end. Here's Gustafson now with it. Gunnar Gustafson just walks across the blue line from one side to the other, plays in the corner, gets a little give and go. Shot taken there. Dykoff looks behind him. Puck is in the net, score. And it might have been pushed in there by Stevens at the end.
Yep, it got behind Dykoff, and Stevens saw that the puck was still loose just outside the goal line, and it was Stevens that made that deposit into the net, just kind of tapped it in as it was behind Dykoff, and Dykoff couldn't find it. 7-0 Little Falls, second of the game for Stevens.
That'll be the second goal, as you mentioned, an even strength goal in a 7-0 game, 3:30 to go.
Stevens. Single assist to number 15, Gunnar Gustafson.
So Gustafson gets the assist, Stevens the goal at 7-0. We're continuing running time here.
And the Flyers have opened it up here in the third period. It was 3-0 Little Falls after 2. Little Falls has outscored Wadena-Deer Creek 4-0 here in the final frame.
Dumped in, Kuchar leaves it behind the net there for Rexted, gets it over to Ballou. Rexted falls down. Here's Robinson with a shot towards the net. Kuchar plays it aside. Around the boards it goes. That's Nolan Bjorgi, and he just got out of the way just in time before Leighton Pettit was going to drill him to the boards. Coming in now, this is Devin Young. Centered a pass, intercepted there by the Wolverines. Knocked down, though, by Inez. Inez plays it behind the net. Here's a little give and go, and Dykoff has to slide out, and the puck is still out there. And the official blows the whistle as Dykoff never had possession of it. And a lucky break there once again for the Wolverine netminder.
A generous whistle for the Wolverines as Dykoff was swimming around fishing for that puck. Couldn't quite get to it, but the officials lost sight of the puck and blew the play dead. Clock continues to run, 2:22 and counting, 7-0 Little Falls leading. We're in running time. 6 goals or greater, the margin in the third period, equates to running time.
Well, the win tonight would be the second time the Flyers would at least have a winning record this year. They were 1-0 on the year with the win against, obviously, International Falls, and now they're going to go to 3-2 with this win tonight. A couple of wins in a row, first time this season. As we're down inside of 2 minutes to go. Now the key here, Jamie, is making sure nobody gets hurt for either team.
There's one other thing still hanging in the balance.
There is one.
You know what it is.
We know what that is. We'll just not worry about that right now as it hits the official, and then we're going to have Mason Doble along there with, that is Heyman Hammond is going to go to the box.
Hammond's third trip to the penalty box tonight.
Second for Doble.
That is correct, offsetting minors. Approximate time of the minors, 15:40 of the third running time.
Flyers are going to even up their Section 6A record to 1-1 with this win tonight. An important win for them because obviously come February, seeding time, the Flyers can say they should be ahead of Wadena-Deer Creek. And a 7-0 lead right now as we're inside a minute to go in this one. Played around the boards, not out to center yet as it's held in there by George Moore. Now Nolan Bjorgi with it. Shot at net. Nice job there getting the pad out in time. Was Dykoff. Played up to the line out. This will be icing coming up here on Woods and the Wolverines.
Kuchar will take that whistle.
Yeah, he'll take it. The clock continues to move as we're inside of 30 seconds to go in this one. 7-0 Flyers lead.
Wadena-Deer Creek stayed in touch with the Flyers through 2 periods. They had the power play to open up the third period. That was possibly their best chance to get back into it, and then it kind of got away from them after that.
Down to the final 15 seconds of this. Puck is in the corner. Picked up here. Shot by Bjorgi. Save is made. Dykoff holds on. And Jamie, I think that's going to be pretty much it.
And Dane Kuchar will get his first career varsity shutout, 9 of 9, as Little Falls beats Wadena-Deer Creek tonight, 7-0.
So congratulations to the Flyers. A lot of firsts happened tonight here. One of those including Dane Kuchar getting his first shutout as a Little Falls Flyer. Your final score in this one, 7-0. Little Falls defeats Wadena-Deer Creek. We'll have much more coming up in the post-game show here on the radio side of things after this timeout. You listen to Flyer Hockey right here on Q92 and fallsradio.com.
Fleet Supply, true value in Little Falls.
And welcome back for our television audience. I think head coach Tony Kuchar will be coming up to join us here in just a few moments. I think the microphone worked okay last time.
You want to use the handheld?
Yeah,
or you want me to get my headset
We can do that. That's fine. We don't. The handheld, I think, will work out just
He can hear us.
He can hear us.
His hearing's still good.
Yep, it's still good. A nice 7-0 win for the Flyers. The game was close for a while, and to the third period here, and then it kind of got away from a little bit.
Wadena-Deer Creek had that early power play. They couldn't score. Then Little Falls in the third period had the 5-minute major power play advantage. Wadena-Deer Creek did a great job, did not allow Little Falls to score on that major power play opportunity, but then it just disintegrated after that. It was almost like it was just too much for Wadena-Deer Creek to hang in there. Josh Dykoff, the Bantam-eligible freshman goaltender for Wadena-Deer Creek, was tested all evening long, and it's just like it got to be a little too much there late in the third period as the Flyers continued to just pour it on.
One thing, at least for Little Falls tonight is they got some scoring from different guys tonight again, and it was nice to see that third line come up with a couple goals.
Yes, 7 goals for Little Falls this evening, and it looks like 6 different goal scorers. Nick Stevens had 2, also scoring Gabe Hirsch, Matt Philippi, Mason Dobel, Devin Young, and Ryan Buckaloo. That's a nice array of different Flyers in the scoring column.
What's really nice is getting those third and even the fourth liners to get in the scoring column, because we didn't see much of that here in the first 4 games.
We talked about it in the pregame comments as far as Wadena-Deer Creek's first line of Pettit, Phillips, and Schertler. Coming into the game, 84% of the Wolverines' goals. Tony Kuchar elected, at least in the first period, quite a few times to use his third line against the Wolverines' first line, and Dobel, Ballou, and Young did an admirable job of really keeping the Wolverines' first line off their game. Wadena-Deer Creek's first line didn't really get into the game until the second period when they had some more opportunities, but I thought Little Falls' third line of Young, Ballou, and Dobel did a great job of keeping Wadena-Deer Creek's first line in check, especially in the first period.
The one thing that I've been bringing up a lot so far, and you probably heard in the pregame interviews and that, and even in the interviews we've done with the players, is how the young players have really brought up the intensity out on the ice, and tonight we see that again, even like Stevens instigating a little bit things, but they're not afraid. They're not backing down whatsoever from the seniors on the other teams.
No, and I think that experience at the Bantam State Tournament helped. They had to get through a really tough region once they got to the state tournament. Granted, they lost both games at the state tournament. It was just the experience. And when you look at the Flyers line chart tonight, 9 of the 20 that dressed played on that Bantam State Tournament team, and they have transitioned so smoothly to the varsity level. They're in there, they're gritty, they're fighting. They get the 7-0 win on home ice tonight, and it appears that Coach Kuchar's on his way up.
We're going to welcome,
signing a few autographs before he gets here.
We're going to welcome.
He's always got his Sharpie ready.
Our radio audience on Q92 and also on fallsradio.com. And don't forget, next week, 3 road games. All 3 of those games will be right here on Q92 and also on fallsradio.com. We'll head on over to Long Prairie on Tuesday, and then Friday, Saturday, we take the trip down to the Twin Cities. On Friday night, they'll be in St. Paul, and Saturday afternoon, they'll be over at Mound Westaka. We'll talk more about that coming up in just a moment. And of course, our next Flyer Media Production broadcast, at least for hockey, will be coming up the week before Christmas. A game coming up on the 18th and then again on the 21st, as those will be the next couple of games. Head coach Tony Kuchar coming up to join us here, as you'll see on television. We'll let you use the hands held. That worked out really well for you last time. And Coach, congratulations on the win.
Thank you.
A nice 6, make that 7-0 win. And before I guess we talk about the win, let's talk about your son Dane Kuchar getting his first varsity shutout too. That's got to be a proud moment for you.
Yeah, I guess you always remember your shutouts, and I think I went through my 3-year career at University of North Dakota without a shutout. So I don't know if that's good or bad.
Is that a record?
I think I had records, but it was for the cheapest goalie, I think, most penalty minutes or something like that.
You've since calmed down.
I have, yes, I've really calmed down. So, but yeah, it's always good when he had to come up with some pretty good saves in the second period, especially at the end, and got hit in the head at one point, but yeah, it was a good win for us. It's a section win for starters. We had multiple different scorers.
Yes.
So it was good. We played our third and fourth line quite a bit in the third period. We got them out in the second line, our first JV line. We saw some good things out of Nolan Bjorgi tonight. I thought he had some energy, and that was good to see. Buckaloo scored at the end there. I told him it was probably as easy as goalie's ever got. It was wide open net. But on the flip side, we need to get better, and it just seems like we miss the net a lot, and we're not ferocious around the net, and we don't want to go to the net hard. So that's gonna hurt us in a situation where we play a team that's a little more physical, maybe have some better defense. But a win is always good, especially early on, to get the confidence, and it's good to win.
Your third line, Mason Doble, Devin Young, Ethan Blue. It appeared in the first period that you had that line out against the Wolverines' first line of Pettit, Schertler, and Phillips, and they did a nice job of neutralizing that Wolverine scoring attack from that line.
Absolutely. I think I'm a firm believer that anytime that you can get your third line against their first line early on, it makes them much better as the season goes on and towards the end of the year when they're playing against a true third line and you're matching lines. So if you can get even your second, I thought our second line was probably our better line tonight. I thought Matt Philippi had a really good game tonight. I think, and I think he gets more confident, hangs on the puck a little long, but he can shoot. He made some great strides, I think, tonight, and got some with his confidence.
The one thing you mentioned about Matt, and that might take some time because he's so used to being that player that scored a lot in his grade and that level that the puck always came to him, so he never really gave it up much. So he's going to have to maybe realize he has to give it up once in a while.
And I think he sees the ice so well that he's very capable of making being that playmaker, and but we want him to touch the puck. We want a lot of puck touches with him, and we want him to get as confident as he can, because once you get down to the end of the year, you're tired, but you've been playing against some high competition, and that's kind of what we gear towards. Really, throughout the regular season, it really means nothing. You try to get your confidence. You try to get things corrected. Our power play still really not real great.
So. I was going to mention, Tony, kind of good news, bad news with the special teams. You talked about it in the pregame interview that you wanted to do better on the special teams. So you get a power play goal and a shorthanded goal in the first period, but then you have the 5-minute major in the third, and you couldn't score.
Yeah, very. We have some good passing. I mean, we're passing around, but entering the zone, we're not getting it set up. We're doing kind of our own thing, and that's just going to have. It's just going to frustrate the coaches, and we'll get that corrected. But we want them to try to set it up. We want them to get a 2-on-1. I think we seriously need to bring back our John Hanowski 10,000 puck, and we did it. George Moore is running it, and down in our youth hockey program, John Hanowski was the one that started it. Our kids, we don't shoot well. I mean, you saw one time that Devin Young shot a rocket in the third period. It went in, But other than that, we continue to talk about shooting to score, not just shooting to get it on net. So that is going to be talked about in practice, and that could be a practice thing on what we're doing. But we definitely need to shoot to score.
One thing that I noticed when there's a 5-minute major and the offensive team, sometimes they have a letdown. They kind of they
relax almost a little too much.
Yeah.
Whereas you don't have the intensity where you do in a 2-minute when you're trying to score.
Right. I think you're right. I mean, you go back and look at all of our 5-minute penalties that we had a power play. I don't think we've scored or close to it. We had even a 5-on-3 and never scored. So we definitely have puck movement, but we're just not getting that opportunity. But I can see the wheels turning for some of the things. I thought Stevens and Philippi out of the corner kind of cycling around was good tonight, and I think our defense handling the puck was good. So I just hope that continues to get better, and our special teams man short was good tonight. So but again, you have a little more skill than Wadena. You're going to be able to skate a little quicker than they are, and have a little more time and space with the puck. They should have that just better game awareness when you have that much more time with the puck.
The amount of puck possession you had in the first period was just incredible, but then it changed a little bit in the second.
Yeah, I thought the second period was not one of our better periods this year. I think that in the first 2 games of the year, International Falls and Virginia, that was our not very good period, or if you want to call it that. That was the period that we were lost in both of those games. So we'll have to continue to talk about that. It might be a locker room thing. It might be just how we come out, and but the intensity just has to be there, and we also need to make sure that we are aware that it doesn't really matter who we're playing. Crookston, a non-conference, non-section game, or Wadena, or Alex, or whoever. It seemed like we had a lot of energy for Alexandria because it was Alexandria. You need that same intensity for Wadena. You need that same intensity for International Falls, and a young team has to understand that, and hopefully we'll get that corrected.
Well, you get another crack on Tuesday against Prairie Center when you get to go to the cold, chilly Todd County Expo Arena.
Absolutely, that is a cold place, and there's not a lot of neutral zone. There's not a lot of space around the net, so we're going to have to be also good. We need to shoot the puck. I thought their goaltending was outstanding tonight. I mean, we had 45 shots and only 7 goals, so I thought he made some very good saves. I think he's a true Bantam 9th grader.
Correct.
I thought he played excellent tonight. I think Wadena will continue to get better under Scott Woods. He's a great coach, a great person to have in their community. Teaches the right things, the right way to handle yourself, the right way to present yourself, and I think their program is just going to get that much better. They need, just like Little Falls, they need numbers. And hopefully they can get the numbers because they got a pretty good coach up at the high school.
Tony, you're going bowling tomorrow. What kind of a bowler are you?
Not very good.
Not very good?
Yeah,
you don't
couple
get enough
years,
practice in?
Last couple years I've opted out. So we just have a lot of kids, and I enjoy watching, and so we have power skating tomorrow morning at 6:30 in the morning. So these kids got to get out of here and get home, get some sleep. We have a squirt tournament with our youth hockey. Our Pee Wee Bees are at St. Cloud for a tournament. I'm not sure about the rest of where everybody else is at, but it seems like at least the 2 tournaments that I know of, I just kind of looked at it quickly. So there's a tournament, so there's lots of games. Starts I think during early afternoon, and get up and watch some of our squirts play. And if you're in St. Cloud, I believe our Pee Wee Bees are there. So always fun to have your youth hockey playing, and you see a lot of kids at the game tonight. And
absolutely,
and
we were talking about, we had a chance to talk with Ethan Ballou, and he obviously a golfer, and then Jamie was asking about what his handicap is. Do you have a golf handicap?
No.
Okay.
It's lower than yours, though.
I once threw my clubs in the river, I think, at league play.
You once drove a golf cart through a bunker, too.
Yes, I did that.
By accident. It wasn't on purpose.
Yeah. But I used to play league with Buck Lindbergh, Linko Storage. We were at every Tuesday or Wednesday. And my last time, I think I shot a 65, and I think I threw something in the water, and that was the last time I played for a long time. And then I came back to it a little bit, and then just having kids and having a demanding wife all the time, I have to be doing dishes and cleaning stuff, and so there's no time in the summer to do anything. But just joking. But
this is going to be replayed over and over on Channel 181. So
I was just joking. Yeah, she does it all. I don't do anything really in the sun. Coach hockey, and
you got a great support system.
I do. My kids are wonderful. My wife is even wonderful. Then than me.
All right. Thanks so much for joining us, and we'll be just radio only on Tuesday night, so we can talk all sorts of
Nice job trying to clean that up.
I did clean it up well, though. So thank you very much, and thanks to the Flyer Media Production, too. Awesome job once again. Thank you very much for covering us.
Yeah, they got to get out of here. They probably broke the curfew limit here.
That's right.
All right, thanks so
Thank
much,
you.
Coach.
You bet.
Once again, that is the head coach of the Little Falls Flyers, Tony Kuchar, and a nice win once again for the Flyers. For our TV, thanks so much for watching as we're going to wrap things up here for that, and we'll let those kids get back to school. They got school tomorrow.
Austin Moore, Owen Kircher, James Fry, nice job. Mark Deals, the advisor, also does a great job. We enjoy it.
And we definitely do, and as I mentioned, we'll have more Flyer Media Productions coming up, obviously wrestling, basketball, all that, but our next hockey will be coming up on the 18th and then again the 21st. December 18th against Northern Lakes, December 21st against Cambridge. We invite you to join us for that. So that's going to wrap it up for Flyer Media Productions. Once again, the final score, 7-0. Flyers win. Good night, everyone, on TV Land.
All right, for us here in Radio Land, we're still hanging out here on the radio side of things. As time now for our post-game show, as obviously we had a chance to talk with head coach Tony Kuchar. Let's get at the stats brought to you by Schlenner, Winter & Company. And with the stats, here is once again Jamie Pettit. What did she do, cut us off?
No, I suppose she thought that we were signing off.
Oh, yeah. Hey, we're still going here, Christina. Christina. Let's see if she brings it back.
Can she?
Yeah. No, we can't.
No, you can't.
No, we can.
No, you can.
Christina, you there? Hello? Why did we? We're still doing our post game show here.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
You can just bring it right back to us, okay?
Okay.
Thank you. Yep. And welcome back. Yeah, we've had a little country music flavor in there. Nothing wrong with that. We're going to get more country music coming up in just a moment. James Hershey, Jamie Pettit here